Alrighty, welcome to episode 88 of Tokwa's Ask Us Anything. As usual, it's been a pretty busy news week. Elon Musk has offered to purchase the entirety of Twitter for US $54.20 per share, totaling $43 billion. In his letter to Brett Taylor, chairman of Twitter's board, Musk wrote, "I invested in Twitter as I believe in its potential to be the platform for free speech around the globe, and I believe free speech is a societal imperative for a functioning democracy. However, since making my investment, I now realise the company will neither thrive nor serve this societal imperative in its current form. Twitter needs to be transformed as a private company. As a result, I am offering to buy 100% of Twitter for $54.20 per share in cash, a 54% premium over the day before I began investing in Twitter, and a 38% premium over the day before my investment was publicly announced. My offer is my best and final offer, and if it is not accepted, I would need to reconsider my position as a shareholder. Twitter has extraordinary potential. I will unlock it." In response to Elon Musk's intention to purchase Twitter, its board has announced it has resolved to implement a limited duration shareholder rights plan, also known as a flip-in poison pill. This commonly used hostile takeover defense gives all Twitter shareholders, except Elon Musk, the right to purchase newly created Twitter shares at a 50% discount. While this can provide shareholders with an immediate capital gain upon disposal of these discounted shares, it simultaneously dilutes the value of already held shares. Prior to the poison pill being announced by Twitter, Elon Musk confirmed at a TED Talk that he had a plan B if the Twitter board did not support his takeover plan. Tesla appears to have removed its UMC, Universal Mobile Connector, as an included accessory for new cars ordered after 17th of April in the United States and Europe. While the UMC was included with all new cars, it was and is also available on Tesla's online store. Elon Musk explained that UMC's deletion for new cars as being a response to usage statistics, which he said were super low, and that the continued inclusion of the UMC in new cars was wasteful. He later committed to halve the cost of the deleted UMC from US $400 to US $200 and to make it easy to order with the car. It has not yet been confirmed that Tesla Australia will follow suit in not supplying the UMC for future ordered cars, but presuming a similar UMC price reduction was applied in Australia, the currently priced $860 UMC ought to halve to approximately $430, in line with Tesla US's price reduction. In a recent TED Talk interview, Elon Musk has stated that total FSD beta participants have exceeded 100,000. He has also reaffirmed his belief that full self-driving will essentially be solved by the end of this year. According to German publication Automobilwoche, Tesla's Brandenburg Gigafactory is currently producing 350 vehicles per week and has plans to increase this production rate to 1,000 vehicles per week by the end of the month. The publication estimated the total number of Model Ys produced this year would be approximately 30,000. Automobilwoche also indicated that the Brandenburg Gigafactory would close for about 3 weeks in spring to facilitate the transition from 2170 cells to Tesla's own 4680 structural battery pack architecture. According to Shanghai Media Group, Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory has resumed limited production starting yesterday with reduced on-site staff. All 8,000 staff working the single day shift at the Gigafactory are required to sleep on-site in Tesla-provided sleeping bags and mattresses and utilise company-provided ablutions that are in the process of being installed. As well as 3 daily meals, Tesla workers are also set to receive a 400 yuan daily stipend for having to stay exclusively within the factory limits. Although the partial reopening is a positive development, it is tempered by the fact that Tesla have about 1 to 2 weeks of available parts inventory with which to assemble cars, and there are significant parts supplier logistics issues that need to be solved in order to continue production beyond the immediate future. As Elon Musk has stated in several earnings calls, We are only as good as our unluckiest part supplier. Prior to its reopening, the estimated deficit in Shanghai production this quarter is approximately 40,000 cars. And that was this week's news. And welcome back. That was the news. So, just a quick call out for anyone that might be new. If you are, please feel free to pipe up and say hello. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to do that later on. Obviously, as you can tell, we're super casual here. So, if anyone new, like I said, just say hello. Um, all right, with all that news, if anyone got any comments? Oh, by the way, of course, the other piece of news that we mentioned last week was that Tesla's earnings call will start tomorrow morning at 5:30 sharp-ish. And for anyone that's interested, you can just go straight to YouTube and Tesla's YouTube channel, and there's actually a live stream ready to go. So, has anyone got any questions or comments so far?
So much for a quiet news week, Harold. That was really well done, that first piece. That was really good.
Yeah, thanks. Look, I put in the UMC because there's been a bit of discussion about it. We did reach out to Tesla, but they haven't yet indicated that they are following suit. So I think that's something that's useful to just to mention at this stage. It obviously goes without saying that anyone who had already ordered a car would obviously be getting the UMC in any case. There's just a little bit of doubt as far as whether they will continue to provide the UMC for free. There's been a lot of discussion about what Tesla's real reasons, so-called real reasons for doing this, and it clearly is what Elon Musk has stated, which is it is wasteful to include something that isn't universally used. Um, you know, iPhones and other devices routinely now don't have the charger included because the presumption is you've had enough of these things that you don't need to do that. But I mean, Australia has got some different conditions, and really, many of us do use the UMC by necessity. But look, if it's only going to cost $400, then it'll just be a little checkbox that you just tick when you order the car if you need it. And look, if it comes to pass that the UMCs aren't being included, the club will make sure that we've got enough spares for people to borrow, particularly if they've just purchased their car and they're waiting for something like their high power wall connector HPWC to be installed.
There was a tweet by Troy Teslaik where he gathered some data on the mobile connector usage, the UMC usage, and he said data from 13,399 Teslas shows that 71.2% of them in North America use the mobile connector at least 5 times a year, and 56.6% use it at least 10 times a year. So, I mean, that sounds like it gets a bit of use, but when you think about it, that really is wastage, because if you're only going to use it 5 times a year or 10 times a year, then, I mean, you charge what, 2, 3, 4 times a week. So that's not a very high usage rate. So I think Elon's right in saying that, that it is wasteful. You're on silent, I think.
Sorry, absolutely. So, and Elon clearly has said it's all about the wastage, really, and it does make sense. I mean, of course, we could always think of ways that Tesla could sort of help this out by maybe having loan units at service centres, perhaps for people undertaking road trips or something like that. But look, I guess Tesla, as they've done before, they can easily up their prices. I mean, they have with Model 3s routinely. So I guess it's just a matter of choosing whether you want to pay $430 for that accessory or not. And there was a time when the HPWCs were free with the car in the boot of your car, and
Yep.
since last year, or I think it was even before then, They are just an accessory that you've got to buy. So
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do it, or at least not as yet in Australia, or particularly
yes,
WA, because we don't really have the charging infrastructure that they have in the US. So we may still get them for a while.
yeah. That's actually a great segue to this disturbing image, which is of the RAC tritium
Oh,
charger
jeez.
in Margaret River. So this is what happens when you the connector out of the holster, grab about halfway down its cable, swing it like a cat, and smash it on the ground. So each one of those two connectors costs $1,500. Uh, Now, unfortunately, the reason why that's actually really unfortunate right now, apart from the wastage, is that the Margaret River supercharger site is currently off air,
And
as too are the destination chargers. So we're aware that there is a major component failure. I think it was the main circuit breaker, effectively, for that whole installation, and there are parts being urgently conveyed to Perth to be fitted, hopefully within the next day or so. But again, when you've got the Margaret River the Margaret River fast DC charger also out of commission, and it's a holiday period, it makes things a bit
Mm.
awkward. So that sort of
so,
highlights, Pete, that you know, in fact, because the destination charges at the shopping centre are offline as well, you've only really got a couple of places that you can possibly charge, and I think at least one of those is an Airbnb, um, which you've really got to be staying at to get use of it. So
so
Yeah, and that's a great segue to my story. Of course, I've just come back today from down south.
yes, right.
Didn't have any smashed up chargers, but had serious problems with trying to make chargers work, and I couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it must be the car, but I think it must be something to do with data connections. But if I didn't have the ability to plug into a GPO with a extension cable off the friends we stayed with, I wouldn't be back here because there was no alternative. There's one charger. Narrogin on the way down failed. I only just got to Albany. On the way back, Bridgetown has worked before, but it wouldn't connect, wouldn't recognize the car. Car wouldn't recognize the charger, so I gave that away. But fortunately, Bustleton worked, and that's a Charge Fox, the same, RAC one. That worked okay. So we got back all right, and in the meantime, we managed to put an extension lead off a socket, and that made the holiday work out. But if it wasn't for that, we would have been screwed.
Indeed. So so you're saying Bridgetown, you had issues.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, also Narrogin on the way down, and Nanup as well. Nanup is an ex-Charge Fox, but the council's taking it over now. It's free, so zero charge.
Yes.
So there wasn't any problem to do with logging in or anything like that. You put the plug in, you're all set up. It switches. It says, yeah, okay, the plug's locked in. The charger switches to blue, and the car says awaiting authentication. You say, well, what authentication do we need? Because this is a public free charger.
Brian, did you press the start button? You need to physically press the start button on the charger. Yeah, okay.
We did, but the car unfortunately does not have a start charging available because it's just sitting there weird. So I'm wondering if there is something wrong with the car software. But there again, we got the Bustleton and the Charge Fox charger there, which is basically identical, worked fine. But that in Bustleton, we have good data connection. The app works fine, worked off the app. That's all good. But in Bridgetown, yeah, the communication is reasonable. You've got mobile data there. And as I said on my little chat there, yeah, I rang up their help. They reset the whole charger. They said there was a few errors. Exactly the same story. The car says, waiting for authentication. And the charger says, okay, you plugged in, waiting, checking, preparing to charge, preparing.
Just
That's
to be
it.
clear, this was the Bridgetown charger that you had issues
Charge.
with.
The Charge Fox, the 50 kilowatt Charge Fox job, yeah.
And also the Nanup one.
Nanup one is an X Charge Fox. It's the same unit.
Sorry, just to repeat the question. You were unable to charge at Bridgetown.
Yep.
And at Nanup.
Yep, and at Narrogin, which is a smart charge. They've only got 2 chargers in WA, as far as I know, and that's one of them. And exactly the same problem. I thought it was because I hadn't used them before. I had to download the app, all that good fun, you know, credit card numbers, full details of this, that, and the other, and that all set. And the app says push start. Great. Charger says okay, ready to go. Car says waiting for authentication.
So, okay. So the Narrogin one, that must have been a AC charger, is that right?
I guess so.
At the Narrogin Motel?
Yeah, just outside the hotel there, in the main street. I think it was Narrogin, pretty sure it was Narrogin. South of, keep on going south from Boyle.
Okay, so Narrogin has a high power wall connector, so that's just a destination charger. So that
Nah, not that one. No. Maybe it's the next town down. Okay, what's the next town down? Kojonup, yeah.
Kojonup, yeah.
Koji, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I charged at Kojonup. I tried to charge at Kojonup last week, and apparently it worked that morning. Yep. And for me, it just said on the app, the Chetamo side worked, but the CCS2 was coming up as unavailable. And then there was another gentleman that got stranded there a couple of days later. He got there with 2% and couldn't make it work. I rang ChargeFox and they rebooted it twice, but didn't help at all. There is a HPWC, a destination charger at the home timber and hardware, and that's where we ended up charging for 3.5 hours to get to Walpole. We had a trailer on our the back, so
well, we didn't really have time because we delayed by messing around, and we took the back route to avoid the traffic. But of course there's loads of roadworks all down the road, Cranbrook as well, so that didn't help. And of course the roadworks really stuff up your efficiency because you're slowing down to 40 and you're speeding up 110, and 2 kilometers later you're slowing down to 40, you're speeding up again. And so, by the time we got to Albany, we were getting a bit twitchy, but we still had 17-18% left, so we were okay. But, if apart from they saying, can we plug into your socket in your garage and run extension lead to the car, we would be stuffed.
Yeah.
Because as you know, Albany's got one charger, which is a toaster charger. That's all great, but there's also a toaster car there. So that charges out of action for 3 or 4 hours, and nobody anywhere near the council, the library, etc. They've got no idea what's going on. Yeah, well, look, when they've gone, you can plug in. Who's that? No idea. No registration of who's using it, when they're going. We need
not on PlugShare. They weren't on PlugShare.
No, I don't think so. I should have checked, but actually couldn't be bothered because I knew we'd get just back to the house and use some more of theirs.
Yeah.
In addition to those 2, one of the Williams ones is out as well.
Oh, at least there's 2 there, and they work. That's how we got down that far, because Williams is good. The Tesla chargers are fine. You plug them in, they work. That's it. And also some of the free ones around town. I've been in Scarborough and other places. Plug it in and carrying up Shorten Centre. It's all great, but I don't know. ChargeFox, they seem to have to talk to something. Maybe it's to do with the data connection. I have no idea what goes on there, because the car says plugs in, latched, you've gone blue, you're all good. And the charger says, I'm all ready to go. Now what?
It's really disappointing that the Kojonup charger is still not working, because that's over a week, and they've known about it for over a week. So, and I ended the second phone call by saying, well, you obviously need to, if you can't rectify it remotely, you obviously need to get someone to come out. So, please, make a report to send someone out. So that obviously still hasn't happened.
Yesterday,
Yeah, I
there
see
was
ChargeBox has just sent out a spiel saying how they're working really hard to improve their maintenance, and they realise they've got problems, but they better get a move on.
yesterday there was a report by Deanna Lee saying that it was working, that
Yep.
Stojan up.
Yeah, right.
So that was the 19th of April, and also on the 18th, presumably Daniel N also used it.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's something that one thing I'm surmising, if the Chatamo was working but the CCS wasn't, one issue could be that when you unholster the plug, there's actually a flap which has a micro switch attached to it, so that the
Ah,
charger knows
mhm.
which side has been unholstered. Now, it's plausible that hinge might be a bit corroded or have some dirt or something in it, some grime,
Give it a
and
good wiggle. Yeah.
the door may have actually stayed fully open, meaning that it's thinking that it's still holstered. So the thing to look at would be the light on the left-hand side of the screen.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm going to find a nice image. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, it's not that great. But there's
ChargeBox
basically
charger.
here, if you look at the
Yep.
initial icon is actually a symbol encouraging you to pull out one of the plugs, pull out
Yep.
one of the sides,
Yeah,
and
yep.
then the other next one is it will start flashing. Once you've done that and attach it to your car, the next symbol will actually have SMS/app, and I think it actually looks like, and also a card, like a RFID type thing.
Yep.
So that's
Got that
implying
one.
that you should badge your RFID card or use your app, and then you have your start, stop, and maximum button, and then you have an indicator that once you've finished charging, it'll encourage you to
Yep.
reholster it. So what could have happened is that, like I said, if the hinge is sort of a bit corroded, it'll stay
Now,
fully open because it's basically out of the way of the plug. When you pull the plug out, the unit is relying on that hinge closing under a spring load so that it can detect that plug has been removed. So what you may have to do, and this is useful for anyone, anywhere, with a tritium, is if that first light is still saying, take a plug out and plug it in, just stick your finger sort of where that hinge is and just like pull it a little bit, even on a 45-degree angle, sort of shut. It doesn't have to be fully shut. Then at least it'll detect that it's been unholstered. So that could have explained why that unit has been playing up.
unfortunately, no. We got as far as the SMS app lighting up, and the app working, saying all go, and just push start on the app, and you push start, and it goes grey, and the charger says, "Okay, preparing to charge," and that nothing happens. So I'm thinking it's something to do with the data link. Of course, obviously the charger's got to talk to somewhere where they say, yeah, this transaction's ready to go.
On my app, we didn't even get that far. It wouldn't even give me the start button. It just said unavailable.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the charger's probably unavailable then, yeah. Yeah, but you think if you get that far and it says, just tap the start spot on the app, you think you'd be looking good, but yeah, and when you don't actually have a transaction, but I guess it's still the same communication at NANUP, where they've obviously, it comes up, the price is 000, but it's a standard ChargeFox 50 kilowatt charger unit. Yeah, you think, okay, what's it need to communicate? So I thought there's got to be a problem with the plug connection on the car, but then when I got to Busselton, all fine, and the Telstra destination charger, and of course my own unit all work fine. So there's nothing wrong with the car. And
I charged at that NANUP charger on Thursday without a problem, Brian.
Yeah, that's the one. Well, look, I'm on a Vodafone network, and in NANUP I had no data connection.
Oh, you
I
don't
had-
you
No,
don't
that
need one
Nanup's
in.
free. You just
You don't
just
need
need
one
to
in
press the start button. There's on Nanup. It's literally just there's no cost and there's
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
press the start button and the screen changes to, I can show you a picture. Screen changes to a little worm going across saying preparing to charge, preparing to charge, and 5 minutes later it says timed out, go away.
and you obviously press the start button where
Yep.
it says DC, not AC. So
Ah,
on the left-hand side, there's a
Yep, yep.
DC, an AC start and stop
Yep.
button,
Yep.
and on the right-hand side, there's a DC start and stop
Mhm.
button. So just checking that you definitely would have pressed the DC one, because if you press the AC, that's
Yeah.
actually a different plug altogether.
It's the one that you can see plugged in there at the moment.
I'm just
Yeah,
looking
plugged
at
in there.
that. That looks like the chummy one, not the
Well, that's a Type 2, I think.
That's a Type
Yeah.
2. This here is the CCS Type 2
Yep,
CCS.
yep. So that
So-
goes on the DC. I think I could have got caught with that one. Yep. And also the other charger too, because it's pretty vague as to which you're on, and you think, oh, the DC is the large plug that doesn't fit, so we'll go with the CCS2, and that can be
Okay.
either AC or DC depending which charger you're on, can't it?
Okay, so Brian, just to be
Yep.
perfectly clear, the
Yep.
AC is this Type 2. It looks like this only.
Yep.
The
Yep.
DC is this one above, which
Aha.
has the AC as part of it,
Yep.
plus the additional 2 pins for DC.
Yeah.
Now,
The-
you
the design
must
for the-
plug, it doesn't actually matter which one you plug in, but obviously if you want fast DC charging, you've got to plug in the CCS2 plug, and you've got to press start where it says DC. If you had plugged in just the Type 2 plug and
Yep.
press start on DC, well, nothing will happen because it's
You've been
actually
able to
waiting. It's waiting to
Yeah,
talk
and
to a
vice
car.
versa. Yep.
Yeah.
Understood.
And
Yeah,
vice
that
versa.
could be the problem. I tried various options, but with these things, and you can survive some alternative way. You really don't want to spend too long standing around with the family in the car saying, "What are you doing now?"
But next time,
but-
do check that, and it's good for anyone watching on YouTube. And by the way, you can do that just by going to youtube.com/Tokwa. Yeah, just remember that. Sometimes it's useful just to have a little step back and just have a little look and go, let's have have I plugged the right thing in? Because for instance,
Yep.
Model 3s that go to Eton can very easily plug what you could call a modified Type 2 plug in, because there are dual plugs at Eton. And
Yep.
if you plug the modified Type 2 into your car, nothing bad will happen. It's just that it won't charge. Because it's not the combined charging connector. So you need to have the DC pins on the bottom. So that's just another pro tip for anyone that's going to Eton for the first time. That's currently, well, that's actually Western Australia's only dual leaded supercharger installation. So just
I
be
must
aware of that.
have been just lucky. I used that last time I went down. I went to Eton, and I must have just luckily chose the right plug and the right button.
Well, you had a 50-50 chance, so you obviously flipped heads that time.
Yep.
But that's the purpose of Ask Us Anything, is to sort of just impart that little bit of extra knowledge that, definitely if you're DC charging, always go for the larger connector. And also at those squarish RAC chargers, and also the one at Nanup, which is the same design, it's a circuit control design, just make sure you press the start for the DC while having the DC connector plugged in.
So
But it
if
actually
they've got,
works as well if you have to. If for some reason the power supply is not working for the DC, you can charge on AC, just like a destination charger. It's just that you've got to start on the AC on button.
yeah, but that's the same plug surely. So that should have worked. If you put the CCS2 plug in, I know it's got the DC connections, but it should still start on AC charging. Also, be slower, but it should start.
No. If you put the CCS plug into your car, there are two on buttons. One is to tell the AC to turn on, which is the different plug, because they're connected differently.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
other one is to turn the DC on. So they are two separate streams.
So
entirely.
if your plug's got the DC pins on it, you should use the DC charging.
We have to.
Yeah.
It won't start otherwise. If you press on for the AC side, nothing will happen, because it's
Must charge the wrong, yeah.
basically it's talking down the different hose. So
That explains it. So the charger's trying to talk to the car with the thing that's not there, and the car's trying to talk to the one that's, yeah. Okay.
that's right. So it was never going to work, but it's working properly. It's just not. It just wasn't used as it ought to have been used. But next time, the good news is next time you go there, you'll have it sorted. It'll work perfectly, and
Oh, well, we've got to make this simpler, because all these chargers, they try and make it simple, and it says, just do this, do this, do this, and you do this, it doesn't work, and their only answer is, oh, we'll ring the helpline, and the helpline says, we'll check the charger, and you wait a while, and they say the charger's working fine, and you go to the app, or especially these guys in a smart charge, we're obviously big over east, and they've got 2 chargers here. Yeah, they said, oh, look, we found with the Tesla Model 3, did you close the door? I said, what? And we found if you don't have the driver's door closed, it doesn't work. And I thought, that's got to be bullshit.
I'm not sure about that. Speaking of helplines, one helpline you could ring is 62623131. That's a Tokwa helpline. And you would have had someone on the other end of that trying to give you some ideas. So that's also a good reference. If you're sort of stuck charging or some other issue that's pressing, like I said, just use Tokwa's helpline, which is 62623131.
Thanks very much, Harold. I'll get out of here. You can talk about other stuff now.
No worries, Brian. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame you had a bit of a fraught journey. I mean, the most important part is you made it in the end.
Oh, it was great. The way back was really smooth. It's amazing what a difference traffic congestion makes to your consumption. You think, oh, I'm speeding up, slowing down a bit, but if you can keep that constant speed, the performance is fantastic. We thought we'd get back with about 25%. It was well over 30, 34 or something. It's because you don't have any holdups, just keep on going, and it's good.
Cool. Oh, Brian, I think you just froze there. Anyway, that's okay. That's cool. All right. So, has anyone else got any other news or any comments before we
looking forward to the financial call tomorrow?
You reckon Elon will be on tomorrow?
Ooh, if he is, then that's good. It'll be something. But or maybe not.
Is it?
I've been watching my shares going up, so maybe not. Maybe if he's not on, then the shares will keep going up. Then
Wall Street kind of liked it when Zach Kirkhorn was on, not Q4, but on the Q3 call.
Yep, nice and boring.
Yeah, well, predictable, and told them what they wanted to hear in their language, whereas, Elon's Elon.
Yes, he'll talk about androids and Optimus subprimes and things like that.
Yeah,
which is far too forward thinking for them to analyze.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like the TED Talks and stuff were very interesting this week with him as well.
Yeah, look, my only disappointment was that the main TED Talk, or the one that was live.
Oh yeah, that was crap.
It was dominated by Twitter. Half of that TED Talk was wasted on Twitter, and it's like.
Did you watch the other one? Like the full one? That one's a better one. Yeah.
That was better. The other one is mostly a waste because as much as Twitter is interesting to Elon, it's not interesting to Tesla per se. It's just a sideline really, albeit I guess arguably a worthwhile one for what Elon wants to achieve. But the poison pill is sort of seen to that it's going to cost them a lot of money.
Or he starts his own,
which would be a lot cheaper.
Yep.
It'd be a hell of a lot cheaper. For $1 billion, you can set up a pretty big server farm, and
But
Offer.
but Harold, it might be cheaper in terms of dollars, but it might mean that he'll have to spend a lot more time getting it going, and his time is worth a lot of money. So
Yeah.
if you then translate it that way, it might not be cheaper. Hence why he's probably thought about buying Twitter.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I had heard that Netflix, who was in the news today, actually, because they've disappointed on the downside as far as their subscribers goes. I think in 2012 they introduced a poison pill to stop being bought out in a hostile takeover, and I think there was some other company that one of the founders wanted to basically take it back, and they instituted another poison pill.
And it worked.
Yeah. So it's sort of interesting. If I was a Twitter shareholder and I didn't want to get more shares, I'd be disappointed because it just means my shares get devalued and I get diluted out of my holding. But I mean, I guess Elon Musk has gone public to say that as far as he's concerned, the board is obliged to do what's best for shareholders, and he certainly thinks that paying them $54.20 because he had to get the 420 reference
420 in there.
He is basically saying that is in the best interest of shareholders it's in the best interest of shareholders that the board put it to their vote.
Yeah.
Because of course the board has not done that. They've just rejected it and said, no, we're doing something completely different. So I don't know. Let's hope it doesn't dominate. Well, actually, it shouldn't even be a question for tomorrow's.
Hopefully Elon's not there then, and then we won't get crap like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the main thing I want to hear from the earnings call is what influence Shanghai's interruptions are having on the rest of Tesla's operations. Because, for instance, my old Model X, its wheels are made in China, the rims. So it's not just Shanghai's production that's interrupted. Potentially, it could be a downstream effect on Fremont. Well, on Fremont, because that's the only factory that's making any meaningful amount of cars.
And that's in an environment of supply shortages as well. So whatever impact that is, it's only going to have exacerbated effects. So
maybe when we die, we could come back and be a worker at a Shanghai factory.
Yeah.
And we get to stay there and get that extra 12 cents a week for that extra work that we've done. I think that's great.
Actually, I did see that the 400 yuan per day, that it's actually not so shabby. It's $63 US.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
not awful.
It's like $700 a week. Yeah. It's $2,800 a month. That's like an extra $30,000 a year salary.
Yeah. And you're away from the wife and kids. Oh.
Sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag.
Oh, and you get a mattress, Jared, and you apparently get the report said sleeping bag and mattress. I didn't see it say or mattress, but I don't know.
And your meals.
And you get to sleep with your fellow workers.
And you get ablution blocks that are being constructed presently. Either that or you just get a fire hose, I guess. You could have a fire hose shower. That'd be pretty effective.
Yeah, but you get to talk Tesla 24/7.
Oh, that'd be great.
Without getting told off.
Gold.
So the suicide rate must be really high then.
Well, as an extra bonus, they will pipe in past episodes of Ask Us Anything.
Oh,
yeah, that's torture.
The whole 87 of them.
No, that's human rights. That's against the Geneva Convention, I think.
See, that's right. The Chinese torture. It's Aussie torture.
Yes.
I reckon I broke a record with that this week. I was travelling
TT.
last Wednesday, so I watched it the next day in one hit. I thought that was a record.
Well, that was 4 hours and 15 minutes.
I know it was a long haul that morning too. In that between.
Did you watch it at 6 times speed, Peter? Or?
No, I didn't. I just thought that I was travelling from Ravensthorpe to Esperance, and it was pouring with rain. and which was good. The rain just went over the windscreen. The wipers didn't turn on until I hit street lights, which was an interesting thing, I thought. Yeah, they don't turn on until you've got a light source, or in obviously no moon or that with the rain, but which didn't interrupt me at all. It was actually better without the wipers, but they don't turn on until you hit the street lights, and that was right in town.
Did you have Rain-X on your car, Pete?
Yeah, I put like Silex, Hydro Silex on it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've actually found as a pro tip that's very effective. I personally use Rain-X, and whenever I sort of get round to it, and it's super effective.
It's better than any wiper.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Your right foot's effective as well.
Yeah, well, I was hitting it, but because I couldn't quite make it, I was a bit too quick, and I had to top up at Ravensthorpe.
Yep.
Oh yes, well and Ravensthorpe is hopefully going to get its power upgraded in the next couple of months. Fingers crossed.
Oh, that'd be good, because it is pretty slow compared to the others. And on the way back, I followed another Tesla, which was a big mistake. So I was half an hour wait at least before he would get off, and
Yes.
he had to charge as well. So that was just the way it was.
Yeah, following might be good to get a bit of extra slipstreaming, but yeah, it's certainly not good. You're better off to sort of, I don't know.
Well, I let him go ahead, but I was still too close. You know, in terms to let him charge.
Exactly.
Actually, it was good to see you on Manning Road a couple of weeks ago, Peter.
Oh, yes, I've forgotten about that. Yes.
Nice of you to wave. I was just waving, thinking it's a Tesla, and I went, oh, shit, that's Peter Ship.
That's it. Cool. All right. So any other bits of news or questions?
Alex?
Sorry, I'm watching The Voice at the same time.
Don't do it, Alex. It's going to rot your brain.
I know
Looks
what
like-
it is, right?
Double torture, man.
We could always
What was
have
the
this
question,
as a goggle box vicariously through you, Alex.
I know yeah.
Alex. Another big night there in Mandurah Performing Arts Centre.
Oh, another big night.
Sold
No
out
crowd
behind
tonight. Hey, I'm on into 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. That's great.
That's
Hang on, wait for it.
How long do you think all that'll take?
Here we go.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Really? Yeah, that's all.
Any idea when you're going to be finished here?
2 weeks.
right. So that's when you're on. So and that's how many
How many shows?
shows
Performances or
Yeah, so
performances?
As many as you can get.
got 5.
5.
Thursday, Friday, 2 Saturday, and 1 Sunday.
Cool.
That's when you get the old people in there, isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, the old people could usually come in on Sunday.
And Saturday mornings. Pack 'em in.
Yeah.
Nigel will be there.
Nigel will be there.
Yeah. That's if he make sure he separates his whites from his reds. Then he'll be there for sure.
Well,
That's what I found.
At the moment, he's got the blues,
yeah.
He's got the,
and he's indicating that rocket that's taking off behind him.
I'm saying he's blurring himself out. So. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh dear. So Pete, what do you reckon is going to happen tomorrow at the earnings call? I noticed that a lot of the analysts haven't really updated their figures. They're still maintaining that their figures are mainly based on lower. I think it was 307,000 production, even though it was actually 309 or 10 or
Yeah.
something.
Just under, yeah.
So it's,
Yeah,
I
they're
don't-
dumbasses.
So the production's one thing, but the margins, I think they're underestimating the margins. So
They always do.
Rob Mauer did a good video today explaining all the reasons why he expects the average selling price to be higher. So, you know, a higher Model Y split out of China. And we know the Model Ys are, you know, more profitable. A lot of S and X, and earlier in the quarter they were prioritising deliveries of long range and performance cars, and they had that FSD incentive at one stage as well. So if you ordered FSD while ordering, you'd get your car earlier. So yeah, I think there'll be, and plus all the price increases. Let's not forget. So yeah, no, I think we'll find, the margins creep up, and even the revenue line will be higher. Everything from top down.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it'll be a good positive surprise on the upside.
Not financial advice, but buy some more shares.
Well, I was
It'll still be
presuming that
cheap.
because of that's right. I mean, anything on an exponential growth is low at any part in the past, isn't it? No matter which part of the graph you're on, as long as it continues. I would have thought the share price would have reflected some of the slowdown in Shanghai, but it just hasn't. I think, as you were saying, Paul, you're just watching the shares go up, and they went up last night. So who really knows?
I think because Tesla's the only car company that keeps producing more cars, where everyone else keeps reducing the amount of cars that they're actually producing. So, and they keep saying, chip shortages. And that's what I was wondering about the UMC, if they were nicking those chips out of that for the cars or something as well. I wouldn't think so, but
You never know.
You never know with Tesla.
Actually, Paul, the first part of your statement, if you finished it after you said Tesla is a car company, and if you just finished it there, that would have been, just as accurate, because as far as I'm concerned, they're the only real car company. Everyone else are just assemblers. So, they're one of the few vertically integrated car companies still left.
Did you guys see the thing with Sandy Munro when he was talking about the Gigafactory in Texas, about how they have the 4 floors and that sort of stuff, and you've got the batteries up the top, and they get done, and then they drop down, and then they go with the seats, and then they drop down again. And their production line, like their assembly line, is the automatic robots that actually, if they have an issue with that, they just flick one out and keep it going. So they're their downtime's going to be a lot.
Car transporter things, those robotic things where they go on and they go on an automatic, on a slot, or it's been cut into the floor.
So you're just going, and just the Gigapress stuff, you're just going, the amount of cars that they're going to be pumping out of there, the rest of the public will finally catch up and go, hang on, they're like Matchbox cars, and off they go. Then the shares will go up. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes them to catch up. So anyways, it's all good. Sorry.
yeah, absolutely.
I get to be excited with money.
I think Elon Musk actually showed, I'm just trying to swipe it now, where he actually describes the layout of the Texas Gigafactory, which is actually the most optimum thus far.
Yeah.
Where I think...
Because most people don't realize it's 3D. They keep thinking of it like a 2D sort of setup, and it's like they've got 4 floors. It's amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In fact, this is the image of Fremont, and it really is a dog's breakfast, because I think the front entrance is actually, I think it's here.
Yeah.
You sort of go in here. And you do actually get to go to stamping. You don't get to go to the outside tent. But really, this is all over the place. It's all over the shop with weird multi-levels, and nothing on this roof is flat. It's all got things that have been added to it. But then...
the old Ford factory, wasn't it, Harold?
No, it was a Numi. It was Toyota and
GM.
Yeah, GM.
Yeah.
Whereas
they spent
actually
400 million or something, and then Tesla bought 52 million or so.
That was 40 something.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
that's all right.
This is the Giga Texas. So you just got stamping, which is all the doors and all that sort of stuff. The body in white. You've got the casting for the front and back rear casting. Goes straight to the paint shop. The drive units are built straight to general assembly, as well as the plastics, and you got your cell plant and your battery pack assembly section straight into general assembly.
Very
And you see-
streamlined, isn't it?
Amazing.
It is. And then obviously to the left here is the most important section of the Gigafactory, which is where all our Cybertrucks will be made.
Cybertruck, woohoo!
And possibly the Tesla Semi
Yeah.
as well, which will be another important thing for transport. But yeah, it's just that stark difference, isn't it? It's you know, and I think I forget which interview it was with Elon Musk. It might have been part of the TED Talk where he was basically saying that, you know, I think the question was what was his biggest regrets, and some of it was the way they did the Model 3 line. And he sort of said he believes there's no engineer alive that knows more about car manufacturing than he does, because he's learnt every single part of that Model 3 and the process used to build it.
He had no choice.
Yeah, it was by
The
necessity.
company was going to die had he not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I did think that was a little
You're frozen,
bit,
Richard.
maybe like 8 billion people. Really? Oh,
No. Yeah.
Say
Down
that
here.
again, Richard. Sorry, you
hear me now, right?
Yeah, got you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was perhaps a touch arrogant, because like he's literally saying, "Oh, what he knows all 8 billion people on the planet, and he knows better than anyone." Maybe he is right.
Oh, I
You
didn't.
know, I don't know.
He's not the Messiah.
I know where you're coming from.
Have you heard the
Richard.
way of Elon?
But he's
not
a
the
very
Messiah.
naughty boy.
No.
Go, Pete.
No, I remember listening to it, and I thought the same thing for a second. I thought, "Oh, that's a big call. You must be confident." Then I thought, no. I actually, like, when you think about it, you don't have to know 8 billion people. You only need to know 2 or 3 that would have any value to add to whatever you're doing at that point. And if they're either there or they're not. And yeah, it doesn't seem like they were. I actually thought about it, and I thought, no, he's probably right.
I think it's because he's Asperger's. He just thinks,
We're
you
going
know,
to say
speaks the truth, and it's just too direct. You know, there's no filter sort of stuff. So
Oh no,
Yeah.
I
think
love
it was-
that.
yeah,
Amber Heard liked him. Amber Heard liked his Asperger's.
yeah, and Grimes.
Grimes. So we want to drink the Kool-Aid now, are we?
Well, we
Yeah,
are.
we were
Well,
heading-
the thing is,
No.
yes, we are Tesla
You can-
fanboys, but we are critical as well. You know, we
Yeah.
do call a spade, and
Yeah.
you know,
Please don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Elon's done awesome stuff, but and look, you know, I've said this many times. If someone else builds a better car than Tesla, I'll buy it.
Can you buy the Polestar, Harold?
If it was better, yeah. But I've sat in one, and
You're the only person I know that sat in one.
it's it's only because it was in the middle of nowhere, literally. And
Does it come with that truck?
yeah, that's right. That's right. It comes with an awesome tilt bed, drive on, drive off truck.
Actually, speaking of support vehicles, I was speaking to Andrew Horan. He's been on a couple of our previous episodes. He's in Mandurah. He got a gash in the sidewall of his tyre. So
Oh man.
I gave him the number, and he rang Tesla service, and they took a while. I mean, they told him at the beginning that that would be about 90 minutes, but he just sent me a text, and he said, "Can you please let everyone know the Tesla tyre swap service was exceptional?" So
Good.
Fantastic.
yeah, so it's obviously
Mandurah as well. They go that far. They go to Mandurah.
Yeah.
They must be using those new battle cats that the police have got.
Bearcats.
Yeah, the bad cats. They must be using
No,
that.
bear.
Oh, Bearcat. That's right, Bearcats. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Must be using those to change the tyres out in Mandurah. That's good.
Good to
We all know
know.
that Tesla offers good service. There's no question about that.
Yeah, those boys are awesome.
Yeah, yeah, we all know that.
Yeah.
And how's your seats going? Oh,
Next Monday.
oh there you
So
go.
I'm going to get the seat done for free,
And the leopard print?
and the steering wheel as well for free, which is good. And they're giving us a loan car for the day, so which is good.
And that's a Hyundai or?
No.
What's the loan
You know
car?
what?
Isn't
I
it
said
a
no, it's a Tesla, but then you know what? Last time I thought I was getting a Tesla, and I got a friggin'
yeah,
Toyota hybrid.
Yeah,
And
that's
that was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So
It's
Sorry.
actually a good marketing tactic. It makes you realise how good your car is when you.
I already did know. I wanted a bloody performance Model S or something. So I know they don't do them anymore. So, but yeah, they should try to upgrade. I've got a performance Model 3, but the latest performance Model 3. I hear borrow that, but they sell everything now. Yeah, it'll be a petrol car.
I've seen that ad on TV, on the ad on Facebook for Polestar. Howard, have you seen that? The one on Facebook.
The
saying
silhouette one.
Yeah, saying no miles or something and all that crap. You saw that? Yeah, it's on Facebook.
Is that similar to the one they had for the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl. Yeah, that's the ad. Yeah.
Keeps coming up
Yeah.
on Facebook.
I mean, look, it's an okay car. I mean, it's a very conventional looking car on the inside. So, if you like knobs and buttons and switches and things like that,
It's back to that basic.
but it's just not a Tesla. So the design language is different and the features just aren't the same. Like I said, if someone can build a better car, I'd buy it. But come and do it. Tesla's opened up virtually all their patents. I think they've opened up all their patents for anyone to license. So any secrets they have is open to everyone to use.
Yeah.
So come and build it. Now, speaking of things to use, one thing that might be useful for anyone that's a fan of Starlink is when you go to starlink.com, there's a very important button you should push, which is this little icon here. And what that does is it takes you to their starlink.com/map.
Oh, wow.
And what this does is when you zoom in, there's actually a legend there that has available, and if it's dark green, it's on a wait list. So this was the mistake that I made a couple of months ago when I said that everything south of roughly Northampton is available, except Peter and I found out the hard way that anything from Northcliffe, Mount Barker south is not available yet. It's on a wait list. So, but the good thing is everywhere in between is absolutely available. All
Time
the
we got to
way.
run to the U Club. Harold?
So yeah, well, we've got to do it. Oh yeah, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? But I would love to do a demonstration drive. There's no roads actually showing here. Oh yeah, you got Cocklebiddy there. But I'd love to go across the Nullarbor again and just demonstrate to all the roadhouses that you're getting Starlink everywhere at 200 megabits per second. But yeah, so if you just go starlink.com and you either click on the little map icon there, that pin, or just go /map, and that'll get you where.
And how much is it now? What's the subscription?
About 139 a month.
Yeah.
About 940 odd for the just under $1,000 for the hardware.
Yeah, right.
What speeds do you get in Perth?
It varies quite a bit, but over 100.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
It
And you can
varies on
also
how
get-
busy it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get upwards of 200 megabits per second. So that's what they've got available.
More than that.
It's a pity that the ping times are so long. I mean, you're talking 70, 80 milliseconds.
You've frozen.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're back.
Yeah,
Can't do gaming with it.
Oh,
All old
No,
people talk about ping
unless
times.
you're gaming on a server that's in Sydney, or your opposition, your friends are gaming using a server based in Sydney, in which case there'll be not much difference. The biggest problem is that all of Australia's and New Zealand's Starlink connection effectively terminates at Sydney. So it gets routed via fibre optic cable to Sydney, and then it joins the rest of the internet at Sydney. So I don't know where the Zoom server we're on now, whether there's a server in Perth, which there might be, in which case, it'll be a lot quicker to ping to Perth rather than somewhere else. But hopefully when Starlink gets a bit bigger, it will have more point of presences elsewhere and have one in Perth, which would take our pings down to about 20 milliseconds, which is pretty good.
That's adequate.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you've got NBN, you can get pings down to 1 millisecond, but
Don't know who's got that.
NBN doesn't go all over Australia,
Right.
with a 100 plus megabits per second.
When I first
whereas-
got it, I got about 350 or whatever it was. So
Yep.
in some of those remote areas, you probably get close to 500 megabits.
Well, just imagine literally picking some spot in the middle of nowhere, or Laverton, or some mine site or a drill site, literally in the middle of nowhere, and you've got the same service as in Perth. That's a huge difference. And I did note, it's not really Tesla news, but SpaceX is in discussions with one of the large American airline companies to have their dishes basically on board their planes.
Yeah.
It's so cool. They've been putting them on their drone ships now. That's why you're getting to see the shots of them land so well now.
Yes.
That's why they're not cutting out.
Unbroken. Yep.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Unbroken coverage. It was awesome.
The last one was brilliant. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, it was. That was back at what's the name?
Vandenberg.
Vandenberg. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Air Force Base.
Richard Chapman. Is that a photo of you before you were pregnant? You
Long
posted
before I was pregnant.
You posted the other day that you were pregnant.
Yes, I'm not pregnant anymore.
Oh, that's sad to hear.
That's the photo that Elon Musk liked, I think it was.
Yes, actually it was.
Is that before he got his eyesight back? He was using
But
braille
it
then,
was
was he?
just after his hair transplant.
Just have his hair transplant. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, just after mine that failed.
I just did a quick test, got 150 megabits a second.
Oh, let's do it. Now that my internet is actually working again.
179 megabits upload.
She could take all the hair off Pete's face, Harold, and put it on your head. You'd be one scruffy boy, that's for sure.
Yes.
He's getting more scruffy every week, old our Bear Grylls, old Bear Grylls from he loves it. Look at it.
Hey, Paul, back to the previous conversation. What was the situation with your seat and your steering wheel?
Oh, I like to have the seat heater on, and the back, which is connected to my back, started delaminating a little bit off, so the vinyl wasn't too happy about it, and they were saying that it was not a known issue, but I did a quick Google search and that stuff, and anyway, I can say it anyway. James helped us out anyway, so they go, oh no, they weren't going to do it because there's new people there, and then I just said talk to James, and they talked to James, and he went, no, this is Paul, definitely do it, and I said a quick Google search, and you can see bubbling stuff, hence the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, because I've had the center console one replaced because the clip had gone on that, which is crazy. If just a little clip and they've replaced. Anyway, that vinyl's a different type, and that's the same as what the seats are. So they've changed the vinyl, or vegan leather for your seats, so you shouldn't have that issue anymore.
Okay.
What's vegan leather?
Vinyl.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So
I mean, is that like horses that they feed special food to or something? Like, is it something special?
it's
It's
kumbaya.
not leather made from vegans, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
Oh, takes too many vegans to do a seat, so not much to them.
Oh, God. How's your car going, Lance?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Loving it. Yeah, it's great. Such a change.
It is. How are you going with autopilot? Have you sort of gotten used to that yet?
Yeah, I engaged it the first time and it took hold, and I just quickly corrected it straight away. So I had to build a set and get on the freeway and try it there rather than a single lane road. And it works a treat. It's good.
You just got to remember, when you engage it, you've got to be in the middle of the lane.
Yeah.
If you're off to one side, it'll jerk you suddenly back.
Yeah, and when you aren't expecting it, it's really good. Really good. I did actually yesterday, I looked at my security cameras and my boot was open in my car, and I don't recall ever pressing the button to open my boot. So I don't know if anyone's had a ghost boot opening before, but maybe I swiped across it at some stage without realizing it's possible.
Would you have possibly gone to close your boot before you left the car? Like, you told it to close? And then
No, it had been in the carport for 12 hours. And I looked up and it was open. But like I said, I was flinging through my app and I might have just pressed it without even noticing it. But yeah.
I'm pretty sure when you do that, it doesn't say, "Are you sure?" with the boot. So it just...
No, it doesn't. I tested it again. It does with the front, but not the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the frunk it has to, because by American law, the frunk can't be automatically closing. It has to have a manual release. And it has to have that secondary catch. So it means once you've opened the frunk, it won't fully open. It'll just be unlatched, or the main latch will be unlatched, and then the safety latch will still be connected. But then you won't be able to close it. So if you're miles away from the car, you can't re-close it.
Okay.
Whereas I guess with the boot, you can close it. So yeah, you could just do a single press. Maybe you just did a bum dial or something, or effectively,
probably.
like you said, touching buttons.
The other thing I found was I had an alert that came up because I took out the USB that came in the glove box and plugged in a proper, 2 terabyte drive. And Sentry had recorded some data, but it had an error saying, I think it was A111 disconnect and reconnect to USB to increase speed. And I played back the video footage. It was all perfect. So I unplugged it, plugged it back in, and actually just reformatted the drive again from the main interface, and seems to have gone away. It's been 2 days now, hasn't come up again.
Yeah, cool. So you got 2 terabyte drive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just a little mini one.
Yep.
That's
solid a credit card.
A lot of events.
Oh, the Samsung one?
Yeah, Samsung one.
Yeah.
I've got the same one. It's good.
Yeah, I jumped on and did a search on who or what people recommend, and that one came up trumps.
Yeah, it's the best one.
Yeah.
I think I've got 500 gig and I never fill it out.
I was waiting for my car. I was searching for anything to. I had a box full of gear that I brought out to the car.
Everything ready to go. There's no car.
And how long were you waiting, Lance, though?
I ordered 17th of December and I got it last Tuesday. So I don't think you're on last week, but the ship came across and there was 4 cars that missed the main transfer ship. So I waited another 5 weeks. There were 4 cars that sat on Melbourne docks waiting to come across. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
So
I saw my Hilux sitting on Fremantle dock for 3 weeks. Drove past it on a Sunday, saw my car. Went, that's sitting there for 3 weeks on the Fremantle dock. So anyone that works at the Fremantle docks, you suck.
Well, I think Freo Port's one of the ranked the lowest
It's
in
the
the world.
worst. Yeah, it's the worst port
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
much worse than any other port that you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Hopefully, Lance, you won't be the last person to get a car this quarter.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
fingers
Yeah, it's
crossed
true.
that maybe some of this production may go to Australia, but
Hey, on a really important note, from a couple of weeks ago, I did just a quick Siri search on my Apple TV, and Weekend at Bernie's was available on SBS Demand.
oh,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all watch it.
Yeah.
It is a
Old.
series,
I watched it the other night. It's brilliant.
That's all-time classic, that one.
it is absolutely. We could do that on a Tokwathon or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Alan. So plan that one.
Cool. Any other car-related news or bits?
Oh, I like that thing that Damo put out there, the Tokwa Wars. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yes.
thought that was very, very well done. I thought that was very clever.
He was bemoaning the fact that it was going through quite quickly and was hard to read. But of course, I had a little experiment, and what you got to do is you got to limit the text to a reasonable amount because it times it off the music. So if you write a lot, it'll have to go through quickly. If you don't write much, it'll do it nice and slowly. But yeah, it's great fun playing around with it. I was contemplating putting it on to Ask Us Anything, but I know I'm going to get a copyright strike or whatever for the music.
Damien wrote that. I'm sure you'll say that's okay.
No.
It's all his work.
It's
all Damo's work. It's all his original work from his studio in Gosnells.
But it's the music that you get hung on. So
you can play
I was going to say,
you can play 8 seconds and then cut it on 8 seconds.
I think it's 4 seconds.
No, 8 seconds.
And the mouse will come and get you anyway. So
No, you can play 8 seconds and then you're done.
you know they're ruthless.
Sort of varies. Last time we got pinged when we showed that biofill ABC clip because the background music that they'd paid for was obviously copyrighted, and there was something else, another clip I played as well that basically it was Rob Mauer's. It was Rob Mauer's one where it was summing up the Gigafactory Gigafest. Sorry, the Giga Rodeo, and his background music was copyrighted, so that video again has been demonetized.
But can you acknowledge it? Can you acknowledge it, and then because it's publicly aired?
No, YouTube just basically says this is owned by someone, and their policy is that they will earn any revenue from ads. There's no way of I don't know how Rob Mauer did it, or so he probably, because he's got a lot of Patreon supporters, he doesn't care about YouTube ad revenue.
Yeah.
So
okay,
that's what we need, more Patreon support. Actually, I thought if we auction off Nigel's shirt that he didn't wash properly last week, we could make a bit of money on that. That'd be like a telephone item, that one. And they'd go for a couple of grand.
No, Jared, all you got to do is up the price to 60 cents a unit, as ChargeFox have done or will do.
Yeah, I've seen that today.
May the 9th or something.
Yeah, that's 60 cents a unit. That's
60 cents going up from
Is that because they've got to keep up with their high service call out demand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on a 2-day week? Is that what they're going to do?
No idea why, but they upped it or will be upping it to 60. And even with the RAC discount, that brings it down to 48 cents.
Jeez.
Right. Wow, that's interesting.
Haven't you seen that, Harold?
Yeah, it came out today.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was announced.
Yeah, we got the email today.
Oh, right. No, I've just had a super busy day today, so I haven't even looked at my emails, to be honest.
And where's the other free charges that Karen up? Does anyone know? Pete, you might know this one.
What was that, Jared?
There's a couple of new charges at Karen Up shopping sale.
It's on in the yellow section on B1.
Oh, yellow. Is it 2 or 3 of them?
Pardon?
Are they 2 or is there 3 of them there? Or
I think there's 2. Joseph had put it on PlugShare or something.
Oh, I gotta find them.
2 AC
Yeah.
chargers, presumably.
2 AC chargers.
Yeah, good.
Uh,
Those other two are always full when you go to Karana.
Yeah, those bloody Tesla drivers.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey,
I've worked out. I've got 13 more charges, full charges left of my supercharge credits. And it's gone.
You rub it in, will you? Jeez.
Yeah.
Can I ask,
Got a few
Alex,
more than that, and I won't be using them all by November.
No, you're going to be on a
Alex.
cruise. You'll be going down the Panamanian Canal, aren't you?
You can just start driving between Karana and Eton now,
Yeah.
24/7.
Or do what Alex did recently. He went from Karen up to Williams to Eton and back.
And
Yeah,
still,
right.
still didn't pick up any hitchhiker girls, did you, Alex?
Actually, no, I did the three. I did the trio. So I went from I went from Mandurah to Williams, then across down to Eton, and then Eton to Karana.
That's cool.
In one day.
In one day.
Did the 3 in the 3.
Did the three
In
And
the
now
3.
you can go to Margaret River, do the whole
when it's
4.
working.
When it's working. When does it work? Is it like doing guest appearance stuff now, is it? So like this week we'll be working, next week we're not.
Maybe not.
Oh, hang on. I know what it is. You got to look out for Woolies and see when the specials are on. So mince is down and the charges are working. Mince is up and the charges aren't working. It's an off-on thing, is it? Jesus.
Must be. It's got to be.
That charge has been more unreliable than.
Well, actually, the funny thing is, I went down to Mandurah today, the RSC charge, so that's down too. ChargeFox.
Yeah, it's been down for a while. As has the Coburn charger, as has I think the Wellup one as well.
Maybe there's a pandemic on charges at the moment, Harold. Maybe they're breaking out with COVID-19 on the chart. I mean, what happened to that? Someone just vandalised that one in Margaret River.
Yeah, what they did was they basically just grabbed it. You unholster it, you grab the cable about halfway down, and then you swing the plug like a cat and smash it on the
Smash on
ground.
the ground, yeah, right.
And only
What's
takes a
wrong
couple of
with people?
those to basically each side costs $1,500. So there's $3,000 of damage.
That's just stupid.
You know, I'm surprised they didn't actually smack it against the actual the case as well. I mean, that's only just a PVC shell, protection shell, but
That's really disgusting.
It's a pity they didn't do it while there was a Tesla nearby. They might have got it on Sentry.
Yeah.
Because then we could have charged that $3,000 to them plus the call fees.
Extra charging. I like it.
But yeah, so speaking of the extra charging, I did find that email, and yeah, it's awesome. They ironically talk about better network reliability, which is obviously regional, and more discounted pricing options. Except they then say that they've increased the price by 50%.
Yeah,
to 60 kilowatt hours,
and basically giving you nothing.
So it's the 9th of May that they're doing that.
They're arguing that they're bringing their prices more in line with the other networks. So
but Tesla's cheaper.
55 cents, yeah.
Yeah. When we need more Tesla superchargers. That's it.
That's it.
We're done with all this crap.
Well,
yes, we do.
I was having a chat about this with Harold early in the week. I've had my Model 3 Performance for 2.5 years, and never once have I come anywhere near close to running out of charge around the city with it. And I've done almost 70,000 kilometres in that 2.5 years, so I drive twice as much as the average Australian car, and I've never come anywhere near running out of charge. But strapping a trailer onto it, and 3 more people in the car, obviously luggage, and then you're on country roads that are coarser, headwind, going up a hill, the temperature drops. You add those things together, and it's just your range. So I'd be getting anywhere from 450 to about 500 in pure city driving. Combined, I'd be about 450. But with the trailer, even though it was fairly aerodynamic and a tiny little trailer, my range went down to about 250k. So,
Jesus, that's a drop.
yeah.
Oh, that's a hell of a drop.
And I mean, you know, if you drop your speed, so that was at about 100k an hour, you drop your speed to 90k's an hour, and makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
But and look, it'd be fine if we had a reliable, if all the chargers out there were reliable. But yeah, we got to Kojonup and we needed to get to 100% to get to Walpole, and that charger wasn't working, so had to spend 3.5 hours on a, you know, wall connector. So we killed an hour by going to dinner and then watched a Netflix movie for 2.5 hours. So it was okay. But meant that we got to Walpole at about 1:30 in the morning with the kids. So yeah, it was 3 hours later than we had planned. So yeah, so there's two things that I've learned from taking the trailer to Walpole. Number one is that we need a much denser charging network, and the chargers have to be reliable.
Yep.
And number two, we need to think about how we configure our charging stalls. So I'm basically talking about an article that I put up on Tokwa's website today. I don't know if you can pull it up, Harold. But yeah, so Eddie, so the charger, the trailer that I had was fairly hard to get on and off because the jockey wheel wouldn't come down low enough for the Model 3 tow bar. So the only way to actually get it off properly is to put a crate underneath. But yeah, had to do a bit of awkward maneuvering to be able to, that's the Kojonup charger that didn't work after all that maneuvering with the trailer. But yeah, then the Eaton one, I was basically blocking 4 bays and had to not stretch the cable, but it was, you know, extended more than it would be otherwise. So that's Williams. Williams was actually quite good because where that tree is and the back of those chargers is just wide enough to actually get through sideways. So that was okay. So I didn't have to block the other 2 chargers. But the only reason why the chargers are that way is because of that extra tree there. So they didn't want to get rid of a tree, which was nice of them. But yeah, Eaton, I was, as you can see there, I was blocking 4 stalls. I made sure, you know, obviously blocking 4 stalls and the other 2 were taken. I couldn't go and get lunch or anything because I had to sit there just in case another Tesla came and wanted to charge. So, but yeah, what I'm saying there is those chargers could have been put where I've circled a bit further up, and then you could have had basically a drive-through configuration.
Well, like a trailer at Bunnings.
Yeah, or like a trailer at Bunnings, exactly. So my whole point is, you know, when you go and fill up a petrol car at a petrol station, you drive through. You don't have to reverse up to a curb or to a wall. So why should EVs be any different? So, so Harold, maybe if you can go to that graphic, actually maybe that table.
Yeah, I was just
table.
thinking, I don't know if you had like a there you go. See that one, Pete. That's in Norway.
Yeah.
So
that's a long way to go get charged, though.
Well, you know, desperate times require desperate measures.
Yeah, true. Good point. But
so sorry, Pete. You want me to go to the other bit further up, or is that good enough here?
Just to that table, if you can.
Yeah.
But actually, what I'll do is I'll try and share my screen because there was a guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so that table shows you. So obviously, if there's if he's got 6 stalls and 6 cars and none of them are towing, then it doesn't matter what configuration you have. You can always charge 6 cars. But as soon as you include at least 1 towing car, with that with the current reverse park configuration, means that you can only charge 2 other non-charging cars and only 2 other non-towing cars and only 1 towing car, and it's very awkward and all the rest of it. But you know, if you were to use that drive-through configuration, you could charge 3 towing EVs or you could do 2 towing EVs and 2 non-towing, or 1 towing and 4 non-towing. So 4 non-towing versus 2 non-towing. So it's a much more efficient layout. But what I'll try and do is I'll try and share my screen. Oh, no, I can't because, so Harold, you might have to hop off.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah.
For me to be able to share. All right. Let me see if this works. So I'm going to try and go to my Twitter. There was a guy, so I put up a tweet about that. And can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And so this gentleman, Steve, replied, and he said something like this. And I'm not sure where that is, but they've obviously specifically put in charges specifically for trailers. So you can see they're not even worrying about putting other charges further up those islands. They're basically just saying, look, these are specifically for EVs that are towing. So, like I said, not sure where that is. Looks like in the US somewhere, but yeah, I thought that was a that was a good example.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
jump in. Sorry, Andrew Horace has got a question here. He apparently had an incident tonight. Wanting to discuss tires.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier on. The side wall of his rear passenger tire had split.
Hi, team. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, is that you, Andrew?
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so we parked just at a sport ground in Mandurah and came out, and the rear passenger was flat as, and the warning light was on in the car, which was fine. So we rang Tesla. I spoke to Pete. Pete was really helpful. I thought, I'm in Mandurah. I might be outside that 80K limit. So I thought I'd ask the question about members, because Pete's not the only number I had tonight. So and Pete sort of contacted a few people for me.
Sorry, Andrew, I'll just interrupt you. Guess who's ringing me on Facebook now?
Classic. Cool. I'm home now, but so the guy who turned up with a Tesla wheel, Model 3 wheel, perfect. The service was really good. The girl on the end of the phone at 4:15 in the morning in Utah was sensational. She was really helpful. And then the guy got there, changed a tire. He was done in 5 minutes. I left, and as I'm driving off, I realized that the driver rear was down to 25 and showing. So I put it onto the service so I could see the fact that the new tire didn't have a pressure gauge on it. And as I'm driving, I realized that the right rear, driver rear, was down to 25 and dropping. So I got to the closest service station when it got to 16, pumped it back up to 45, and drove another 10 Ks down the road towards home, and it had dropped down to 41. So I topped it up again at another local service station near home, up to 49, and it dropped down to 47 by the time I got home. So I've obviously got a slow leak in another tire. The first one actually had probably a 30 to 40 mil gash in the sidewall. So I don't know how that happened, but then I've got a slow leak on the other rear on the same night. So I'm not sure, is anybody having any issues with tires?
It could, are you sure? Have you had a look to see if it's a tech screw or something like that?
Yeah, well,
likely to be.
Yeah, that's what I thought it could have been, Harold. So I actually, when I stopped both times, I physically got down on my hands and knees and looked at the tire, and then felt with my hands across it about 6 times over the whole width of the tire right around to see if there's anything. I couldn't feel anything either in the high part of the tread or in the grooves of the tread. So I'm not sure what's going on. I couldn't hear any air coming out, but it's obviously reducing in pressure.
Is yours a performance?
No, just the base, just a rear wheel drive, yeah.
18-inch. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, just a little experience that I've had tonight, and thought I'd share and see if there's any.
You can easily get stuff like this, like that just happens all the time.
Yeah, and that's what I thought it must have been on the right rear, the driver's rear. But yeah, I couldn't feel. I mean, it doesn't mean there's not a nail in there somewhere, but I couldn't feel anything.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is you can pump it up and then just take it straight to a tyre place and they'll fix it for you.
Yeah, that's the next question, I suppose. I was going to ask, has anybody had any experience with tyre places down in the Mandurah way?
I know Robin, they use Peel tyres.
Oh, yeah. Where are they, Alex? Do you know?
They are on Thornborough Road, I'm pretty sure, on the corner.
Okay, thanks, mate.
All good.
Actually, I don't know if this helps, but I had a puncture in my tyre a couple of months ago. I took it to a tyre place in Osborne Park, and they said it was too close to the side of the tyre, and it wasn't safe, and they weren't able to fix it, and gave me a quote for $700 for 2 new tyres. So I thought, oh, this is a bit of nonsense. So I went to Tesla, and they fixed it for $40.
Really?
Yeah, and 10,000, 5,000 kilometers later, because went down to Walpole, etc. So yeah, and that tyre hasn't missed a beat.
Oh, that's good to know.
So yeah, so if they if they say they won't do it, or if they want to charge you a horrendous amount, maybe just get a second opinion. From Tesla or someone else.
I've actually got to make a trip to Osborne Park to collect my rim and replacement tyre anyway, so I might just get it pumped up and get them to check it.
Just make sure you make an appointment first, because you might drive all the way there and they'll be busy and they won't be able to, so you'll just waste the trip. So yeah, make sure you just book it in the app first.
Yeah, and does everybody just book services in the app and then turn up when it's registered? Yeah, perfect.
Yep. That's the only way you can make an appointment.
Yeah, great. I'm looking forward to that experience after tonight.
And while we're talking about tyres, I'm down on just about to need new tyres, and I'll need 4. So I got a quote from Tesla, and it was over 2,000 for 4 new tyres. Now that's the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 with the foam padding. But I also then got a quote from Jax for 4 new tyres, Michelin Primacy or something. He said they fitted a lot of those to some Model 3s around, and it was $1,200 fitted, changed over, balanced, etc. 900.
Nigel, try Costco. They've got Michelin Pilot Sport 4s for about $288.
Well, I keep getting told that there are none in the country except maybe what Tesla's got.
I rang them a couple of weeks ago and they had some in stock, but I already had 2 tyres. I just bought some because I was afraid when it was time to change my tyres that with all the supply shortages, there wouldn't be any. So I had some from 4 months ago, so I just used those. So
is that the Pilot Sport 4 with the foam padding?
That sounds like hoarding, Pete.
Well,
you doing
basically
toilet paper as well?
It was. I was only hoarding 2 tyres though, not all 4.
And what about toilet paper? Were you doing like boxes of toilet paper?
Oh, mate,
Panadol.
Full of toilet paper. But we're all full of a bit of the brown stuff too. So
to go on, Nigel, you're asking Pete if that was the Pilot Sport?
Yeah, that's actually a good question, Nigel. I did write it all down and I can't remember. I know for me, it doesn't really matter whether it's, I know so with the Continentals, they do a tyre with and without the foam. And the difference was about $40 per tyre. And so I ended up going without the foam. And to be honest, I couldn't tell the difference. So I'm sure if you had a decibel meter, you'd be able to pick it up. Or if you had a good ear, you might be able to pick it up. But
what are the tyres? Are they 245 45s R18s?
Correct.
Or 215?
No, 245. Let me have a look.
Oh no, they got 235. No, 215 45 R18 and 245 45. There's the only R18 one they've got is 215 45.
Is that Costco?
Yeah.
Just with the Costco website, you can actually punch in your model and it will tell you what tyres you need.
And
So how do you do that? Just go TYRES tyres.
I think they've got a separate website.
Vehicle. Oh no, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, so we can go.
But you got to join them for $60 as well, haven't you?
Sorry, yes, you do. Yeah, should have mentioned that.
Yeah, but that's for a year. So, you know, you can go in there and get, you know, like mints and food.
So
from
yours is a SR Plus, so standard range.
219.
You can buy a lawnmower, Nigel.
Model 3 standard range rear wheel. I can't say rear wheel drive.
There you go. There's 235 45 R18s, 3 products found.
That's it.
18-inch front and rear, 235 45.
R18. 235 R18. So that's it.
And they've got Perth Airport. Oh, it doesn't actually say.
That's the only place where they are. They only have that one place.
There we go. So you got Michelin's.
Hey, Paul, can you read the tyre pressure on your phone app?
I don't know. Don't think
What's the
so.
difference between the Pilot Sport 4s and the
you
Pilot
can't.
No,
Yeah, because the new wheels need to be turning.
Oh, okay.
For the TPMS to work.
Yeah, right.
So these are the 3 results, and there's the Pilot Sport 4s, and there's also Pilot Sport 4s. That's strange. That's on Costco's website.
So one may be with the foam and the other without it, maybe.
Huge.
Which would be a huge difference, though.
Foam's got 0 or V0 or something, or T0.
So 274, is that cheap?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Receive it $100 off.
That's
you got to. They're not at Perth Airport. They've got to be shipped there.
Right.
And an additional $20 ink GST to a fitting charge per tire. So that will be basically brings it up to $300.
No, it works out at 288 with everything worked out.
Leaves you enough money to go to IKEA and get the Swedish meatballs.
I shall look into that. Thanks, Pete.
All right.
Cool. Anyone else got any? We've got a couple other people who have joined us. So if you're new, do please feel free to say hello or whatever. Any other bits of news or issues, quirks, tips?
Got a bit of negative news. I don't know if you want to cover it, but
we'll cover everything, Pete.
Yeah, go for it.
A bit disappointing that ad that David O'Dowd has spent $2 million in the US.
Yeah, that
for FSD.
Yeah,
he's an idiot.
He's basically running for the Senate. He's a billionaire. He's spending $2 million on these ads. He's admitted that his whole Senate run is a single issue run, and his whole platform is FSD shouldn't be allowed on American roads.
Has someone got a link to it? You can send in chat.
Yeah, I can share my screen, I think.
And he's actually putting up videos of Teslas causing problems on FSD, but they're all from last year and the year before.
Well, and he's using a lot of them
without permission.
Without permission. So
without permission, yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to play the video?
Yeah, let's go and play it.
Dan O'Dowd, and I approve this message.
You are watching actual videos of the Tesla full self-driving technology as recorded by the drivers. From turning too tightly and hitting
This is the guy that used to work for Tesla and no longer
swerving toward a pole. Jesus. Watch the bicyclist on the right almost get hit before the driver takes over. Sometimes it seems the Tesla doesn't want the driver to take over. I'm trying. This driver had to hit the brakes when the Tesla didn't understand a detour sign.
His vision
Here it almost hit a truck.
obviously I had to take over.
And here it swerves into an oncoming lane.
Look at that.
Often the Tesla doesn't know what it wants to do.
What is it doing?
Or just doesn't know how to turn.
Jesus. Oh my God.
Tesla's full self-driving software for drivers and pedestrians, it's unsafe at any speed. Tell Congress to shut it down.
Fake news.
Tell Congress to shut it down and buy a gun and start shooting, because that's what we do. So I support this message.
Well, the thing is,
an idiot.
what that ad does not conveniently tell you that he runs a software company, and that software company has been doing a lot of work on automatic driving software for a lot of the OEMs. So that's just a convenient little bit of relevant information that's left out. So, you know, if you're a billionaire, you can, we've got one here in Australia too, you can spend quite a lot of money on ads to push your agenda. So, you know, that's what he's doing over there.
Yeah.
And really, he's really got he's stolen his main line from this gentleman, Ralph Nader, because he was big on saying that cars were unsafe at any speed, because in the 60s and 70s they were. But go Congressman. So is he in Congress or is he going for Congress?
No, he's just running. Yeah.
It's just bullshit stuff. You know, once again, they get some more money.
And he probably won't get in, but whether he gets in or not, he's just thought, here's a lazy couple of 2 million, it's going to benefit my business. So I'll just write it off.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting with Elon talking I think it was the TED Talk, where he said that the beta testers, there's like 100,000 people now in the program. You're just going, holy crap, the amount of people that are paid money to a company to test their product.
Right, isn't it?
That's like more than $10,000 US for it too.
Mm.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's gone up. Last time we heard it was 60,000, and that was only 3 months ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Crazy.
So, yeah, I think the more Tesla gets ahead of stuff, the more you're going to see more FUD, more shit. You know, because they're all going out of business. Like that guy's company, he lost BMW. So that's where it's all come about, is they're starting to realize that his alternative product's crap. So allegedly. So yeah. So we'll see more of this stuff as time goes on.
If you had a good product, why not make an ad about how good your product is, rather than, you know,
no ad.
Rather than making a run for the Senate just to, it's just anyway.
Grist for the mill, isn't it? And I did notice that Rob Mau's live stream discussing his earnings forecast did sort of pose a question that, you know, he definitely did say that guy didn't have his permission to put those videos on. But I guess you could see while the ad was playing, it actually it says uploaded to YouTube by so-and-so. So,
but that doesn't make it, that does, I mean, does that make it right?
Well, I guess what he's trying to say is this is freely available, and he's just showing what's freely available on the internet, because that's what YouTube's license is, isn't it, mostly?
It depends. When you upload something to YouTube, you can check can't be downloaded or can't be used, copyrighted and so on. So, but the default is anybody can do anything with it.
Actually, speaking of YouTube, there's a guy called the Electric Viking. Rob mentioned this to me, and he's done a video about that article that I did on the one that Harold, you showed on Ask Us Anything a few weeks ago. He just uploaded a video about it 2 days ago. The one where petrol would have to, even if it was free, it'd still be better off with the Model 3.
Cool.
I haven't actually watched it. I just watched it very quickly on double speed because didn't have time. But it was quite interesting. He made a whole video about just that article, which was
the best way to watch a lot of these.
I'll watch him. I'll check him out tonight.
Yeah, the best way to watch a lot of YouTube videos is on double speed.
Yeah, and
Very
if you can't handle
this one.
I was
you
going to
can't-
say except Gally Russell because he already talks at double speed. So
Rob Mauer's pretty quick too.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, if you're listening to Ask Us Anything, you should do it at 0.25 times speed, so you can stretch the 4 hours out to all day. Because some of the stuff we portray is very knowledge dense, or maybe we're just dense, and it needs to be played really slowly. So the Electric Viking, there's actually something I was going to put in the news.
Yeah, his name's Sam from Melbourne.
Sam Evans, I think he's got a BYD on order.
Yes, he has.
So which one is... Oh, wow, he does a lot of videos.
He does between 3 and 5 a day.
Oh, my God. Just go to videos, Harold. Might be easier. No, up the top, yeah. Geez, they all look the same too.
Wearing the same clothes.
4 days.
You know what? I'll put it into chat because Rob sent me the link, so I'll have the link to the actual video.
Yeah, right. He's very prolific.
Yeah, he's got 70,000 followers.
My God, there's 7 days ago. So that from here, there's
70,000 followers.
He does between a minimum of 3 and sometimes 5 videos a day.
Yeah, what was the
in
guy
7
that
days?
made
He's put out 42 videos. Plus.
Yeah, so, I mean, you look at that: 3 hours ago,
Yeah.
7 hours ago, 12 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 20 hours ago, 1 day ago. That's just across the top line.
Although, having said that, they're only about 10 minutes in duration, roughly. So
Yeah,
if
they're
you
usually
slice,
between 8 and 12.
yeah. So if you sliced and Ask Us Anything in 10 minutes, 10-minute slots, that's 24. Whoops, that's
Maybe you
24 videos.
maybe you should do that, Harold. Have a clips channel. And it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
How you know clips?
Yeah.
Now you know.
I watch Ask Us Anything backwards. It's the only way I understand it.
All right, I've found it, Harold. So,
Yeah,
right.
which have you got it in chat or something?
Oh, sorry. Let me put it in chat. Sorry, I was just going to share my screen, but it might be easier
Which
if I
day
just
was
put
it? Which day was it that he? Or how many days ago?
I'll tell you exactly. It was 9 days ago. Sorry,
Oh,
I got
God,
8,000
we
views.
couldn't find it.
If gas petrol was free, buying an EV will still save you thousands. So
Got it.
let me see if I can. Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne in Australia. Hope you're having an awesome day. And personally, I feel pretty good about this because, as you guys know, I have an EV on order from BYD. I'm excited to get it. I'm excited to start saving money. Right now, the cost of fuel is absolutely ludicrous. And according to one of my favorite websites, the driven.io, which is based here in Australia. So for you Aussies who haven't heard of it, jump on. I'll put a link on the description below. Got some really good articles on their website. And they're saying that with petrol and diesel prices trends, you'll see that here in Australia, they're pretty well. Google win. So upwards. So there's a long list of reasons to own an EV, and I've talked about lots of those in the past. So I won't get into them all again, I'm sure you've heard them all. But if it's the cost of owning and running, prices either go up or go down. So as you can see here from this chart, this shows you the difference between owning a Tesla Model 3, which is Australia's most popular EV by a million miles, and the average internal combustion engine vehicle, or ICE vehicle. These calculations are based on only a 3-year period of ownership. If you own the vehicle for longer than that, the savings drastically increase, as I talked about in my last video, which was based on data from Canadian researchers. And the chart shows that if petrol rises to $2 Australian per litre, that's about $1.50 US, you'll be at least $14,200 better off with the Model 3 after 3 years. But if the petrol price was to halve to $1 a litre, you'd still be ahead by $9,200, which is insane. But I mean, right now, realistically, as you can see, the price, the resale value of Tesla vehicles here in Australia and in many...
There you go. So the Electric Viking. Good scoop, Pete.
Oh, it was Rob. Yeah, I didn't.
He stole your info, Pete.
No, it's all good. I want it out there as far as possible. So, yeah, no, it's good.
Is that a cousin of yours, Pete? Because he looks like one of your cousins. That guy he had all the growth going on. I reckon that could have been one of his cousins, Harold. It could have been a setup.
There is another video that he has done which I wanted to analyse, but I just ran out of time. And it was basically describing, I think it was documents from some Texas documentation where there was some funding that could have been gotten for fast DC charging infrastructure in Texas.
Yeah,
and off the top of my head, the format was that you could claim up to 75% of the cost of your station or each outlet. So you could claim that from the government and try and get a rebate up to a value of $150,000 per outlet. So most of the proponents, and many of them were successful, just did the full $150,000, which meant that their charging stations cost more than that. Tesla only claimed for $30,000 per stall, which implies that each stall is only costing $40,000. And basically what was alleged was, or what was deduced, was that Tesla is at most 20% the cost of most other charging companies as far as infrastructure is concerned, which is a huge advantage.
Oh, yeah.
But I just hadn't had time to, I wanted to always look at the original documents just to check, rather than just saying, a YouTuber said. But
interestingly, Harold, just another thing that's come out of that is Tesla didn't get any of that funding.
No.
Because they did it on a first come, best serve basis. So they had a limited amount of money and whoever would apply first would get it. But obviously, a few of their mates must have found out about this before it went live, because seconds within it going live, the money was gone. So, they obviously, anyway.
They were front running. They were front running the tender process.
Yeah.
Or the application process.
That's what I actually do for a living. You'd be shot for doing something like that.
Yes.
It's just no.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't happen in WA anymore.
Oh, yes. It's certainly interesting, and I might dig out that actual original material and maybe stick it in the news, because it is quite newsworthy. And it's interesting too. It dovetails nicely with ChargeFox charging more, because traditionally Tesla was the dearer fast DC supplier. Looks like now they're shaping up to be possibly one of the cheapest or cheaper.
Crazy.
And of course, once Tesla goes to open up superchargers for all EVs, then that'll be quite interesting. For anyone that wonders why the RAC fast DC charger in town at the headquarters is always busy, it usually has Audi e-trons or Mercedes EQCs, because Audi and Mercedes have done deals, or have done a deal with ChargeFox to provide free charging, I think it is, for those cars for 3 years or so, or 3 or 4 years. So like anything that's free, it's obviously well patronized when it's free.
It's amazing the advantage that Tesla has. So assuming that's correct, so their cost of capital, their cost of capital is low, but their cost to put in the chargers, the CapEx cost is, let's say it is that quarter or a fifth or whatever, plus they have 70% of the EV market share in Australia. So most of that, plus their uptime is, it's no one comes anywhere near close to Tesla supercharger uptime. So I think last year was like near perfect, and the 2 years before it was like over 99% uptime. So it's up more. You've got economies of scale because no one's got more chargers. They've got 30,000. You've got low capex, and you've got much more demand. So, I mean, any factor that's important, they just way ahead on.
And multiple stalls as well. So it's not just one stall that you're rocking up to.
Yep.
And they build the chargers themselves. So once again, the vertical integration thing.
Yeah, whereas ChargeFox uses Tritium and other suppliers. So vertical.
What's the forecast for Tesla chargers being deployed through the state?
About 2 weeks.
Should
have known that answer.
Their rollout map basically currently only shows the Perth supercharger. Well, you could call it Perth Central supercharger. That's the only one that's.
Where is that, Harold?
It's in Perth.
Have they even broken ground on
that? No, they haven't broken ground.
Yeah.
You know where it is? Have you driven past it?
It's central. Sorry?
Have you driven past it?
Yes, but it's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Nothing there.
But
is it a good location?
It's a very good location. Okay. It's very nice.
Are they going to have lots of stalls?
Is it close to a donut shop? Like
we're allowed to ask that. A
Hey,
donut
Harold,
shop.
will you be able to pull up with a
trailer?
Doing a trailer and not block 4 charges?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's designed for trailer.
It's not parallel. It's not trailer friendly. So
no, it wasn't.
They need to think about. You're right, Pete. They need to think about being trailer friendly because, okay, Model 3 really isn't a car designed to tow trailers, right? We all know. Okay, we get that. Model S probably the same, not designed to tow trailers. But what about when Cybertruck rolls around and the 7.5 ton towing capacity is existing, and you're pulling a caravan behind there? Then you're going to want that. You're going to want that drive-through.
And that's a perfect point, which also made in the article.
On top of that, 21 foot long caravan and do it what you do.
But on top of that, Jared, Model Y is,
that's the one, man.
That's imminent, you would think, considering that they've already started deliveries for right-hand drives in other markets.
Look at that.
There you go.
Nice.
So how do you charge that with that on the end of it?
Yeah, exactly.
So what, you have to use some extension cable? Is that what the next thing is going to be? We're going to buy
it's self-charging
extension cable, or
it's self-charging.
The caravan holds the batteries.
Oh, I don't know.
But
well, actually, it does, Pete. That's a very good point, because what that caravan, and you can bet London to a brick this is true, is that caravan will have in-hub motors.
You will have what?
In-hub motors.
Oh, in-hub motors, yeah.
So it'll present itself as like a negative load or a zero load. So it'll just power itself along, so your car doesn't even know it's there.
Yeah, but you'll need to charge that as well. So if you pull in one of those trailers, so you can be charging your EV and your caravan at the same time, because you're taking up 2 stalls, so might as well use them. But it's not just the Cybertruck, Jared. Model Y 1.588, 1588 kilo towing capacity. So that's really going to open up the market. And Model X can tow about 2.3 ton.
So are they going to sell Model Y with a tow ball on the end?
Well, they do in the US. For $1,300 US, they'll install a genuine tow bar.
Right.
So
they need to think. They need to think about doing that. Then how are you going to charge?
Exactly.
Because you can't do what you did, with a 21 foot long caravan.
Oh, it'd be a circus if So you can imagine all the caravanners heading down south, trying to charge at Eton, with their Cybertrucks and their Cyber caravans. Just be mayhem. So, but yeah, I was having a chat about this with Harold. We're saying if the Semi, when that comes, you can see people hitching up a 5-wheeler or something to one of those, considering how far they can. So what Harold, what's the range of those with with a trailer, with a full payload?
The Tesla Semi, the prime mover.
Yeah,
with a 40-ton
big
trailer.
one.
Yeah,
Big one.
It's 800 kilometers. I think it's
And that
500 miles. Is that right?
Yeah, 500 miles, so 800 k, and that's with a payload.
That's with 80,000 pounds of total weight, combination weight of the prime mover and the trailer. So
I mean, so that would be I mean, there won't be a better car for your fifth wheeler. I mean, that's just going to be the ultimate towing rig. And so, you know, and if you can make those, so obviously they'll have their own dedicated charging network, but if you can make those backward compatible with CCS2 and even a Type 2 cable, then, you know, if you get stranded or whatever, or if the other dedicated chargers are busy, or for those with the five-wheelers, you can, you may be able to use the regular chargers. But you won't be, you know, can you imagine a Semi rocking up to Eton? Well, you know, one truck's going to block out all 6 chargers. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's a bit hard to Google it, but CCS, there is a standard that's going to be harmonised worldwide for ultra high level charging, and I think from memory it's a roughly 1.5 megawatts.
It's huge.
So I remember off the top of my head, it's about 4,000 amps at 400 volts.
Wow.
That's about 1.6 megawatts of charging. So, and Tesla has joined the CCS organization standard. So one thing I was talking to Pete about is I think it would be a good idea, but I mean, we just don't know. What would be interesting, I mean, look, the Semi could have 2 charging ports. It could have a basic CCS one, which does AC and CCS DC. So, you know, up to, you know, 350 kilowatts, or, well, it'd be less than that, but let's call it 200 kilowatts. And they could have a separate inlet, which is completely custom for trucks. But what they could actually do is, I'll just try and bring up PlugShare to give you an idea of what we'll just look up CCS. So what you could do is you've got the pins underneath. It's just going to be quicker just to do this.
But the C pins.
So you've got, oops, let's try and make this bigger. You've got the CCS connector here. So what you could actually do is have so basically the CCS is made up of 2 connectors. It's the Type 2, which is at the top part, that's the AC part, and then you've got the 2 DC pins. Now what the truck, and these 2 DC pins in CCS, the maximum current that can go through is 500 amps. Tesla routinely jams 625 amps because they just do. Because that's how you basically get 250 kilowatts out of their version 3 superchargers at 400 amps. 400 volts. But what the truck one could do, they could decide, and it hasn't been published yet, is have additional DC pins lower down. So you could, or higher up for that matter. But you could have additional fat pins, and there might be multiples of them for different power levels, so that you could sort of go backwards. You could have the large pins, like a big connector that just plugs into a truck, or you could have a CCS that plugs into a semi-trailer and a car, and you could also use just the AC section. So that's a possibility. I thought the standard was supposed to be released pretty soon, and clearly Tesla's Semi, once it's properly released, will have that connector. It'll be the standard connector, because I don't think Tesla's going to make the same mistake, or the same thing isn't going to happen that's happened with car charging, such as CHAdeMO and CCS1 and CCS2 and Type 1, Type 2, etc.
Wouldn't it be brilliant if you could charge your, you know, your prime mover that's moving your fifth wheeler at 1.5 megawatts, and then you know, rock up at the caravan park, you know, you're going to be there for the next 3 weeks. So you trickle charge of 15 amps.
But
Wouldn't that be great?
you know what? Oh man, we're just going to get like a trailer and turn it into what wouldn't be a tiny house, would it? It'd be
a big house.
It's like half.
It'd be a container house.
It's like half a transportable house, because that's what it is. So, and then you just put solar panels on the roof.
Tilt up on the side.
And then you could have tilt panels. That's right. So you could have side walls that tilt up. So you could have panels on both sides and the roof. So you could have a huge amount of panels. And oh man, it's just going to be awesome.
What a power.
Let's just hope that ARK Invest's look, if ARK Invest's bear case comes true, I think their bear case is for Tesla shares to get to $2,800 by 2026, and even if their bear case comes about, that's pretty awesome. So there'll be lots of people that can afford a semi and its trailer, and have a not so tiny house as a fifth wheeler.
What about their expected value of 4,600?
Yes.
That's getting, they're starting to get close to my targets now, Harold.
I know look, I think Kathy Wood's got a confession to make, and I think I'm just going to out her here and now, because it's about time that the truth was told. But clearly she garners gleans most of her research from Tokwa's Ask Us Anything, and in particular that famous episode where Pete dropped the mic and said it's going to be $20,000 by 2030. And he even then went on to say that might be conservative.
Well, she's asked for your questions for her next episode. I've just sent mine.
Oh, excellent. Why'd you ask, Carmen?
Oh, I got help with this, but I can tell you. Hold on.
While you're on that topic, while you're looking it up, the say.com questions, I think it's worthwhile having a look at those, because those will be the 3 questions from retail investors asked tomorrow morning. So the top one at the moment is, I think, about the 4680 development, how that's coming along.
Okay, so I've been told that 1 out of the top 10 fund holdings have posted positive returns over the last 12 months, Tesla. All other positions have declined, most quite substantially. Does the investment thesis remain intact for each of these holdings? And I've got a list given. So it's Tesla, Roku, Zoom Video Communications, Teladoc Health, Combase Global, Coinbase Global, Block Inc., Exact Sciences Corporation, Unity Software, Twilio Inc., Spotify, and Spotify in ordinary shares. Also, so if yes to 2, what changes, themes are you and the team likely to explore over the next 12 to 18 months for the fund?
So I don't know what the answer will be for your second question, but I can tell you what the answer will be for the first one. She'll say, yes, it is. In fact, we've been concentrating the portfolio when the stocks have come down to our highest conviction stocks. But she'll mention the discrepancy between the private markets. So she's used in one of her videos an example. So she compared Coinbase, which is one of yours, with blockchain.com. Blockchain.com being a private company. And she said in the last 12 months, blockchain.com has gone up threefold, while Coinbase has come back 40%. And they basically do the same thing. So, yeah, she's saying there's a big discrepancy between public and private valuations at the moment. And she thinks the private markets have got it right and the public markets have got it wrong. And she thinks it's a great opportunity. So what they're doing is, she argues that it's a form of risk management, which I tend to actually agree with, where when everything comes back, so I think she had like 50 or 60 stocks. She's down to a little bit over half of that, about 35 stocks. And they've just turfed out all their other holdings and have just doubled down on their highest conviction holdings, Tesla being one of them.
So what about with rising interest rates? Will they become under further pressure?
Well, see, rising interest rates, you can make the argument that, yes, the way stocks are valued is you look at your cash flow several years into the future, and then you discount them back to today's dollars and work out, what that revenue stream is worth. That discount rate that you use is obviously is sensitive to interest rates. So the higher your risk-free rate, the higher your discount rate, which means that those future cash flows are worth less in today's dollars. So basically what I'm trying to say is the higher that interest rates are, the lower the valuation of your stocks. But so that's one argument to take. But then that's a theoretical argument, and it's true and it makes complete sense. But then you actually have a look at what markets have done in high interest rate environments. And stocks have done pretty well in high interest environments. So, and you could argue that, innovation stocks and stocks with high P's and, they don't necessarily pay dividends, etc., are more exposed to high interest rates. But at the end of the day, the one thing that's the most important is the earnings, and the earnings will be determined by the pricing power that the company has. And I mean, just look at Tesla. I mean, prices go up and Tesla increases their pricing way more than their input costs. So, they've got great pricing power, and so they do well in a high interest environment or in an inflationary environment. But then let's say things change and they're able to get their volumes up because bottlenecks in supply chains ease. Well, then they've got the volume that no one else has. So they're sort of winning, irrespective of what the situation is.
I watched a really interesting video that was on a abridged version of Elon Musk being interviewed about his entire life. Actually, it was pretty awesome. I don't know if you've seen it. In it, he said that he basically came to the conclusion that 1 hour of his time is worth $1 million.
Oh, it was a minute.
A minute. Was it a minute or an hour?
Yeah. No,
a minute.
Because he spent 30 minutes solving a problem for Tesla that earned him $100 million.
$100 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that was the TED talk.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very interesting.
Very,
Very interesting. But as Pete sort of says, Tesla's just a different company. It's like Apple, sort of. It's sort of like Google, and it's sort of like Amazon. I mean, Amazon was an online book selling company originally. Its headline was "We sell books," online bookstore, and then it very quickly pivoted.
And exactly what Harold's saying now, we'll be saying in 10 years' time. We'll be saying Tesla was just a car company.
Yeah.
It just started out as a car company.
Yeah. Yep. Especially when he starts building the tunnels.
Or the robot.
The tunnels, and there's the robot. The robot.
Robot's good, yeah.
We can't, none of us, look, we can always have wild imaginations, but none of us can really imagine the impact that thing will have.
Yeah. Well, there's a Netflix series called Better Than Us. And that's about robots. That was pretty cool.
Is it dystopian? Is it basically where the robots take over, or they're being
No, they start to get feelings and get attachments and more than mechanical.
Yep.
It was very, very clever, actually. Yes. So.
And my next wife's going to be a robot.
Well, he says he's focusing mainly on being able to help car accident victims and for medical purposes, but that's the problem, isn't it? You develop it for one reason, and then it has other uses.
Yeah, but that's
the Neuralink.
Neuralink, yeah.
Different company.
Well, and that's the thing is, Elon Musk is expert in so many disciplines that
I
many
know.
people can only aspire to be proficient in just one of them.
I
And he
couldn't
knows
believe
all
it.
about
and he's soon going to add free speech and the town square to his resume.
Yep.
Yes, he's going to add
He
Twitter or
gave,
some of Twitter.
he was quite candid about the US government inefficiencies in
Well,
this interview.
every government is a monopoly, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
And not only are they a monopoly, they're the judge, jury, and executioner. So very hard to compete against government enterprises in a free market.
Yes.
There is a rumor that Joe is actually going to get a robot, so she doesn't have to make lunches anymore.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good use.
Isn't that right, Joe?
Mm.
Oh, here she comes. She's there.
In the kitchen, as usual, yeah.
In the kitchen. Is there truth
yes,
in
that would be good.
Get a robot in, don't have to make lunches anymore.
That would be good. Yes. We're even on school holidays and I've still got to make lunches tonight, so that's annoying.
What the hell?
Holidays, lunches.
Well, anyway.
Well, kids eat, everyone has lunch every day.
It's they still need feeding,
Yeah,
If
right.
you're going out, you have to pack food,
Yeah.
Anyway.
We'll replace
so
that.
the Android cooking, doing lunches, cleaning, washing
awesome.
clothes, scrubbing,
Gardening,
weeding.
But husbands are allowed to do all of those.
Well,
do that.
They're
That's the whole
allowed to,
point.
they
We
don't
want
do it.
We want to
No,
outsource.
See the husbands are a bit like the bot. It's they believe that if it's repetitive, boring, or dangerous, they don't want to do it.
Dangerous, really?
You don't do it quick
enough.
enough.
A good try.
Oh God!
I know what I'll use Optimus for. I'll get him to Ask Us Anything for me.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, we could get Optimus to host Ask
Yeah.
Us Anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And no one would notice. Actually, they would, because it would be much more eloquent.
Then you just download it in your Neuralink, so you get it at triple speed or something like that. Yeah. Or Matrix style, just done. You've done it in 2 seconds.
Well, Harold, he's got the same sort of haircut as you, and he could probably mimic your posture and everything. You're right. No one probably would notice, especially that news bit.
Exactly. I've already got the AI stuff that can do the text to speech. So, albeit
you could just get him.
Go on.
So you could just get him to host that news bit at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. It's no different to the nice lady. In fact, this is the nice speech which does this.
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own independent assessment from a qualified advisor and not rely on the general nature of information in this program.
That's actually entirely computer generated.
Wow.
Very impressed with that.
Completely. So I had actually considered doing the news that way, but then it's just like getting someone to being a proper newsreader and, anyway. But yeah, so that's completely text to speech. It just does it. And if you want to make it sound really nice, you put a few extra punctuation marks in there to emphasize things. But just as raw text, it does it really, really well. But yeah, so Optimus, that's just another level of revenue and addressable market that is in the trillions. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And as Elon Musk has sort of said, and none of us can really understand it because it's kind of vague and vacuous. it'll have such a massive impact on the economy. And he even said it'll cause people to question what the economy actually is, which.
Well, he said products are essentially distilled labour. So if you don't have a labour shortage, you don't have a product shortage. So it will result in an age of abundance, as he calls it. So,
so it's a bit like there'll be a universal wage.
There'll have to be, yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yeah, bring it on.
I'm starting to lose count.
We're doing like China. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, we're already there.
Are we going to be like China?
We're already there. Everyone just went, yep, no worries, Marky Mark. Whatever he says. We just
This is
did
a
it.
dictatorship.
Yeah, it is. Didn't you realise that?
Are we going to drink the Kool-Aid?
It's your water's been spiked.
So yeah, go on, Pete.
What was his name? Jim.
Go on.
Jim. What's the guy's name? Harold.
Who?
What's the guy that made everyone drink the Kool-Aid? They died.
Jones.
Jonestown. Yeah.
What was his name?
Someone Jones.
No, I'm going to Google it now.
You can Google it.
Not Mrs. Jones.
No.
Yeah. So sorry, Pete. You were saying?
Oh no.
Sorry,
saying like when you think about all the things, all the parts of Tesla that Elon has said they'll be bigger than the auto manufacturing business. So we know FSD, when that sees the light of day in its fully fledged form, that will be bigger than the auto manufacturing business. Energy, he said, will be bigger.
Yep.
The bot, he said, will be a lot bigger. Dojo and the licensing revenues from FSD, Dojo, blah, blah. I mean, they will be comparable, you'd think. I mean, there's your fivefold increase before 2025.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, so if you want to get into a diversified company,
Right,
companies like BHP used to be fairly diversified. Then they've actually, or was it Rio Tinto? Sorry, they pinned off South 32.
West Farmers.
Or West Farmers, yeah. Actually, they're quite diversified. Or are they actually? Are they quitting their coal and mining assets?
They are.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you'd think of those large companies as being diversified, but Tesla, like you say, Pete, one soon to be small part, as big as it is, will be the cars. That may be one of the smaller parts of Tesla.
It might be.
Exactly. The battery storage will be much bigger, and the bot will be ridiculous.
That's coming too.
He's predicting the solar to be.
And what's he saying that with the Powerwall 3? What's the capacity? Is it?
We don't know. There's none of that's come out yet.
No.
But they're definitely working on the Powerwall 3. I mean, it's just it's just a three-phase version of the current Powerwall, and it'll probably have 4680s in it, which means it might be more power dense. Not that matters, because who cares how big it is?
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I think the 4680s that go strictly to the cars, I reckon, they're too precious to spread at this stage because it needs the semi, the Cybertruck. So I think they'll stay in the cars.
Yeah.
So the question is whether the LFP batteries will solely just have the NCA chemistry, or whether they'll have LFPs in the 4680 form factor at some point, because the Powerwalls, they'll all be LFPs. So
I don't know,
you don't care about the weight. It doesn't matter.
The weight's a big factor in the cars. It doesn't matter for the wall and the fixed and the stable ones.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's also Tesla, the utility company as well.
Oh, sure.
People haven't thought about, with the auto bidder and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Solar,
insurance,
megabanks.
virtual power plants, and
merchandising.
The insurance, I recall, I saw a
insurance.
Starlink.
Oh, well, that's a separate company.
Different company.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, but they're still
with,
friends.
But with
They
Tesla's
still
insurance,
split the lunch bill.
but with Tesla's insurance, he's going to hollow out all the insurance companies because anyone that opts for anyone that opts for Tesla insurance, should they choose to drive safely, will get a huge discount on their premiums. And if they choose not to drive safely, they can also just decide to do that 1 month in, 1 month off, whatever. So all the actual bad drivers will then be relegated to using the normal insurance setup. But that was actually set up so that on average most people were safe, and the few people that were dangerous, they all got subsidised by the people that were safe, that didn't get good value for money. Tesla's going to hollow all that profit out, and all you'll be left with is more and more expensive premiums for worse and worse drivers that'll become more and more expensive.
Well, I was reading today that a guy was paying, I think it was $550 a month for his insurance. We went with Tesla and he saved $400 a month. And they've just opened up, I think, 3 or 4 new states. So they're expanding.
They're in 8
Something
states now in the US.
Who's this?
The Tesla insurance.
What do they call themselves?
Tesla insurance.
Tesla insurance.
Oh, they're actually calling themselves Tesla. They're not in Australia yet.
No.
We'd all be converting over, wouldn't we?
Because, Pepper Money's here. That's Tesla money.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Pepper Money's.
No.
Yeah, but
it's got nothing to do with Tesla.
Oh, it's not. I thought it was Pepper Money's owned by Tesla.
No,
Pepper
Pepper and
Money's are
Macquarie were just doing the loans for the cars.
Oh, I just thought there was some sort of special kickback thing going on.
Oh,
No, they're a demerger from Salt and Pepper.
Dad joke.
Jeez.
It's only 10 o'clock. It's early.
He's ahead of the curve. He's on fire now. He's had a week down there at Pemberton, hanging out with all the Nimbin hippies, smoking weed.
You need to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
but if you're more than 180 degrees ahead of the curve, you're actually
You're
becoming behind it.
Yeah.
Can't be ahead too much then, right?
Exactly. Well, there you go.
As long as I'm ahead of the curve.
Well, your brother's using what's his name? The electric cowboy. He's using your gear, isn't he? He's stolen all your head stuff.
Being the Viking.
Yeah, the Viking cowboy stolen Pete's bloody graphs.
No, that's all good. I'm very happy for that.
Well, no. As your solicitor, Pete, I would like to see a royalty check coming your way.
It was nice to see no pie chart as well. That was good.
Yeah, no pie chart. Jesus.
Pie charts are too damn hard to see. I like the bar chart.
Back to Richard Chapman's railway.
Sorry. Yep.
Richard Chapman, can we look at your railway on the floor again?
No, I'm in the basement now. I'm two floors away from that.
Oh, Jesus. How's the motorbike going, mate? The battery-powered motorbike?
It's still a Perth,
another conversation.
Perth Harley.
It's still there.
But that's only because I've had COVID and we've been in isolation, so I haven't been able to go get it. But apparently they did 3 software updates, and apparently it seems okay now, and the error codes aren't coming back. So.
And you told them that if they don't get it right, you go there and cough on them?
Yeah, I'll go and smear them myself against them and see what that does.
Did you get hit pretty hard, Richard? Or
yeah, what happened with the
financially?
No.
COVID.
C word.
Oh, the funny thing is I probably had it on last week's Ask Us Anything, but I was just getting drunk on wine, so I didn't really care. But yeah, Friday was not really. It was like a short bad cold. The Friday
you're working from home?
I'm working right now.
Yeah. Are you on sick leave or are you on?
Nah, sick leave. Got too much work to do.
Yeah, right.
It just stuck through Easter. I wasn't working through Easter. We were just a bit croaked. But each day was different, like different set of symptoms. So first day was really, really scratchy throat and cough. I think Saturday was probably the worst. It was like, when you're like your eyes here so much they sting. And yeah, and then Sunday was mostly sneezing. And then Monday was kind of all of the above, but like less severe. And then today, probably the day that I felt maybe 90% back to normal.
Any of your family catch it, or have you been?
Oh yeah, well, we got it from James, who got it from daycare. So Harold, I think I predicted that I'd get it on the 18th of April, and I think I got it on the 14th of. No, sorry, I think 18th of March I predicted, and I got it on 14th of April. So.
I predicted the Tuesday, the early April, whatever that was.
5th, wasn't it, Harold?
The 5th of
Yeah.
April.
I picked
But
the
I
6th.
haven't got it yet. So my kids are trying hard to get it. Very, very hard. Very, very, very hard.
It's amazing how many people have got it from their kids who got it from daycare or school.
Well, they give them out at school. They hand it out.
Yeah.
Is it burnt orange?
Oh yeah, thanks, Jared. We're going to do a shout out to Damo and his burnt orange car, which we know it is because the ABC, being the national broadcaster, showed us what it really was.
And I believe the RAC are looking at changing their colour to that burnt orange from yellow. That's the rumour that I'm putting out there.
Look, I think that's not just plausible, Jared. It's going to happen. I'm under NDA and I can't say, but look, if I was the RAC, it'd be a great move to make, a brave move.
Yeah.
As was it Mr. Appleby would say
as well.
Oh yes, and Ashley and look,
Ashley's got a burnt orange.
The fact that Ashley puts himself through watching these episodes of Ask Us Anything, I mean, if that doesn't make you sick, I don't know what will. But you know what? If it makes you better, we'll claim it and we'll take the glory. Forget about those doctors, Ashley. It was all us.
We're known to bring people back from the dead with this show.
Yes, and they've hated us for it. Because oh dear. But yes, so yeah, big shout out to you, Ashley. Really appreciate you watching. And actually, I've got a text message. I've got to reply to you, but I'm going to reply and say many thanks and write back at you. But I'll do that personally. But yeah, so that was our little COVID segment. It was slightly extended because we had a bit of other discussion. But hopefully, everyone else is healthy and happy enough. In fact, speaking of happy, I want to see how happy we are with the share price, and I don't know if it's going to be red or it's a little bit red, but not much. So it's not too bad. Perhaps it's
come on 10 for 1 split.
No, 20 for 1.
Oh, sorry, I just wasn't thinking.
No, do 2 lots of 10 to 1.
Oh, now we're talking.
Oh, that's 100 to 1.
And Richard, I was just looking at that photograph. Yes. Is that your brother behind you? He's got hair.
Yeah,
he's
a handsome chap.
That's your twin brother.
Definitely. Yeah, he's the more handsome one.
You've gone mute.
I took that photo, didn't I?
Yeah, you were part of me. Part of that
Joe,
day.
you're there.
I'm here.
What's going on, Joe? Tell us a story.
I'm making Anzac biscuits.
Oh, about time.
Is that because you needed to go off a little bit, like to get harder for Anzac Day, or do they soften up?
Is it something special in those biscuits from Nimbin?
No.
Oh, Nimbin.
No.
Are they the Nimbin special ones?
Yes, Joe. Yeah, you took the photo that Elon liked.
I did.
Or
yeah,
you took that photo, Joe.
I did take
Certainly
that photo.
Did.
Where was that? Where was that at?
You should have had.
It was when he picked his car up. I drove him to pick his car up because obviously he needed a car to pick it up.
Yeah, because so I bought it secondhand from New South Wales, and it arrived off.
And Joe drove you to New South Wales.
Do you know, in hindsight now, I wish I had actually flown over and driven it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. Thanks, mate.
And that started Joe's odyssey towards having a Tesla too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe. Did it?
Nah, you made me drive it that day, and I was like, oh, not sure where it is.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, hopefully I did. In fact, actually, and this is exactly, sorry, I'm on a proper tangent now. One of my actually now ex-workmates said that she was inspired by our trip up to Broome and back via Carragini, and now wants to get a Model 3.
awesome.
So that's cool.
Oh, that is a great segue to something that a mystery I'd like to solve, and that is, I was going to bring it up live on PlugShare, is this post, which is alleging that at St. Mary's School there is a fast DC charger, and it's like, I just wonder if someone's
really
having the wee-wee, because there's no photo, unfortunately, as you can see.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I would have noticed the DC charger being available.
I was Rob
someone
noticed
called
that
Bill.
yesterday, and he said he was going to investigate. So I don't know if whether they got to anywhere with it, but I was thinking maybe it's a non-public one. But
I think Harold, another drive.
It would be news because St. Mary's is a private school
in Broome.
And
Six
it's
people
just
go to it.
strange.
There's a St. Mary's in Perth as well.
How many Teslas are in Broome?
At least one. Oh, actually, I know exactly who to ask. Yes.
Get him on the phone right now. 10:30 at night. Let's just ring anyone in Broome. Sue answers the phone and say, "You're an instant winner. How many Teslas are up there?" There's 4.
I forget the gentleman's name now, but I'll have to write it down when I remember it. Anyway, he looks a little bit like me and Richard and Peter Ship.
That looks more like an outlaw
Nigel.
criminal.
What's
Is
his
this a
name?
bikie gang? Is it part of some?
No.
gang?
I want to be the leader.
The three of you guys together.
He actually drove his car from Bunners to Cunners.
Oh,
So
yeah.
From Bunbury to Kununurra.
Oh, no, that's the same guy I'm thinking of.
And he lives in Broome.
Oh, wow.
Or at least he's got digs in Broome. So, yeah, I'd like to investigate because it's really interesting to see. If I just take the plugs out, it sort of stuck out quite dramatically. Sorry, if I just go like this and go plugs, if you just go like this, it sort of sticks out because you think, wow, there's
maybe Harold, the club should buy near maps, and we'll zoom in with near maps. Not that much.
I used to have near maps.
Yeah, so did I. It was very convenient.
So did I.
used to have near maps.
It actually took photos of me once walking in the backyard with no clothes on. I was but it doesn't show. It doesn't show anything because it's so far down. But it just shows there's a body there. And
we're not going to say it was only a pixel's worth there, Jared.
It wasn't. It wasn't a pixel. It was more like a big screen. That was it's another story.
So we have got, this is confirmed, but no one's actually charged there, which is Federation Park in.
And it's really annoying because we went past. We probably would have charged there had we not. Well, had we been a couple of weeks later.
Yes.
And gone
well, you were actually a couple of weeks earlier, on the 13th of September 2021.
What charge is that? That's very flash. That one.
That's not us.
Is that the new high-powered charger?
No, that's a 3. We've got.
Yeah, that one there.
Oh, sorry. Oh, apologies. Oh, sorry. Yes, it is.
Is that your accommodation, Richard?
So you would have been near this.
Yeah.
I mean, you got perfect power supply right next door. Big
generator. Oh, is it a generator, Aaron?
Transformer, right?
No, it's a transformer. No, it's a transformer. But that was in November, or 18th of November last year, and that's a tritium, which is not networked, we believe, and is free to use.
You've got to get a Parabadoo. That's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, the problem to get. Go, Richard.
No, because we were in Tom Price.
Oh, you're right. So it's just next to it, isn't it? Tom Price.
Yeah. In fact, we actually went back out to the highway from Tom Price and went past the Paravadu turnoff. But
yeah, right. Because at Tom Price, you've got the Terrace Park, which is probably where you stayed.
yeah. Maybe
And
did I put it on there?
Is that a lovely tourist park, Richard? Is it,
Say again, sorry?
Is that a 5-star tourist park?
Sure.
Did you say 5 stars or 5 ashtrays?
So I think that's Rob Dean's car, no doubt.
Yeah, we did stay there, but I haven't put charging spots in at the campsites because like every time we rocked up at a campsite to get a powered site, I've always said, look, we've got an electric car, we intend to charge it off the 15 amp. Here's $20 if you want it, and no one's ever accepted the $20. But I haven't dropped it as a pin on there because it's kind of like the way I look at it now after having done that trip is that every campsite with a powered spot is a charging location.
Yeah, right.
Which changes your opinion of charging networks in Australia, for sure. I now look at Australia as being covered in electric vehicle chargers. So sometimes there's one thing to sort of know it logically, and there's another thing to actually do it, and then live it. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, so yeah, that's why I don't generally bother putting, unless they've asked me to, to make it clear that they're welcoming of EVs.
Yeah, so most of these green pins are just 15 amps. It's just caravan parks.
Yeah.
So it is a challenge to get to Paraburdoo, and even to Broome. It does take. It took me 3 days to get to Broome. And I actually just didn't quite make it. I got to Port Smith Caravan Park, 70 k's out of Broome, on the third night.
Right.
Just because
because you didn't even go into Broome, did you? You turned right.
No, I did. No, I went to Broome.
You did go into.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was that check-in then. Yeah.
Yeah, I did check in at the Cable Beach Club, but it's often iced. Well, in fact, this time it rarely wasn't. But in this case, there was this patrol that was awesomely icing one bar, but luckily I had room on this side. But then others haven't. So, whoops, go back this way. Sometimes you can get lucky, but other times you're out of luck and the locals are there and it's iced.
Sorry, I think I just had a Starlink moment there.
Oh yes, full disclosure, I'm now hosting. For the last couple of weeks, I've been doing this with just NBN, just because it's awkward with dropouts. It'll interrupt Zoom recording, and then I've got to patch 2 files together, which are multiple gigabytes, and it just doesn't want to do it nicely. And I think a couple of weeks ago, I resorted just to having a Ask Us Anything Part A and a Part B.
Oh yeah.
Because it was just simpler than messing around. So now I'm on NBN at the moment, but still using the satellite on the side and experimenting.
I've seen some people bond their networks, so they've got both.
Yeah, my thing doesn't do that. I've got a Ubiquity Dream Machine, and it doesn't do bonded. It'll do fallover.
Yeah,
but even the fallover is a little bit clunky because it's sort of it waits a minute before it falls over or something.
Yeah, right. Well,
And in Ask Us Anything land, I mean, that's someone could be asking the question, and all I hear is the answer 42, and I don't even know what the bloody question was, and that's upsetting. That would be very upsetting.
You could go off on a whole tangent for that.
You could go on a whole different world in that one.
Could do too. I think even Elon Musk went down that road as well. He mentioned the old number 42.
Harold, how's the 14th of next month looking in the numbers for the?
That's a very good question. I know the numbers.
Segue to the.
I know the numbers were 8, which is pretty good. 8 out of 12. but I'll try and get a.
That means there's only 4 spaces left.
Precisely, and it might be less than that once I do get logged
And
in.
I think Carmen's going in. She's going for a drive.
I know it's good news. Well, good news is there's still 4 places, but that's I'm not even sure. Was that publicised on Facebook at all?
Not yet. It hasn't been. No.
Oh, not at all. Oh, right. Wow.
So it was on the street vibe.
So we got the eight confirmed payments. So that's 8 times. That's $1,200 of commitment. Because it's $150 for a driver in your own car, of course. Oh, and by the way, you can use, if there's 2 brothers or whatever. Oh, what was the complication? I think you can do it per car. That was one little minutiae of you can have multiple drivers per car, but each car would be treated as if it was one driver. In other words,
It's an entry.
As an entry, yeah. So you get, if there are 2 drivers for one car, they get to drive that car half the time each.
That's Saturday the 14th next month.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. And the driving is between 10 and 11:30, I think, roughly. In the try booking, I've put it as 10 to 12, but I'll send out, for everyone that's booked, I'll send out a follow-up email that asks them to come an hour earlier, because there's, of course, a briefing before the event on safety rules and all that sort of stuff.
The funeral arrangements and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Next of kin and stuff. Oh, and actually, speaking of which, there's also a couple of disclaimers and forms you guys fill out. But we'll have that sent out to everyone that's booked to be a driver beforehand. But of course, we'll also most likely convert that or upgrade it to a casual meetup as well, for anyone that just wants to see a.
We're looking at putting that special event on, Harold, where we're going to have that side bit where Pete was going to get, whoever wins gets to shave Pete. Remember that one? Just to raise money for the.
Raise money. Is that with a razor money blade?
It's a razor money blade to shave Pete, gets to win the prize.
Do we have a samurai sword or something useful?
We use a whippersnipper to start with, and we'll go from there.
Tesla does have, and I'm just trying to find it.
Razor.
There's a patent that could be applied to make the job easier. It went something.
Hypochlorite acid?
No.
It's not the laser windscreen wipey thing, is it?
You just took that's the image there, and
similar to Pete's face.
Well, precisely.
Yeah, like
there
all the
different zones and different lasers with optics intended to clean the zones.
His mouth would be like in the bonnet, and the.
No. See where all the dots are. They represent the growth.
That's it. So we have to clean those areas up.
That's right.
The winner gets to clean those areas up. Maybe we can do it more fun, and the person that shaves Pete is blindfolded. There you go.
With a cutthroat razor. There you go.
Yeah, once again, Pete, you'll need to get there a bit earlier due to insurance, liabilities, funeral arrangements.
There'll be a few forms to fill out, no doubt, and we'll have to promise not to mean to cut Pete's throat accidentally.
Ahead of the
curve. Well, we'd have to try and follow the curve. If you're too far ahead of the curve, you might bump into the next curve, and that would. Oh dearie me, that's champagne. Tokwa, ask us anything.
Champagne.
Cool. So yes,
it's tap water.
So that's about 3 weeks to. Well, 3 weeks this Saturday, I guess. For the meetup, what are you going to call it? Track day. Sorry, track day.
Track day.
At the driver risk management in Grogan Road in Perth Airport. Which will be pretty cool. So I think, Pete, you're going. I noticed. So that's awesome. Hopefully you have you got new tyres, or are you going to wait to put them on later?
I've got new tyres, but yeah.
Oh, are you racing, Pete?
No.
Oh, okay, just signing autographs, but not
Yes.
just signing the book. Just the book
I'm
signing.
I'm just going there as a prize. Gareth.
Just the prize. The prize, okay. Carmen, Carmen, are you gonna do this one?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
No, I did do a little course with Mercedes a while back. It was very interesting at the airport.
Doing course on what? Seatbelt management?
No. Well, actually, speaking of seatbelts, in the Tesla, because I'm shortish, it cuts me. I can't adjust it any further.
Well, I saw a complaint about the same thing.
It's not that comfortable.
Have you tried putting, because there's two things you can do. You can put the seatbelt lower, and you can also put your seat higher.
I did.
You did both of those?
It doesn't sort of work.
Oh. There is a doctor in America, Carmen, that we can send you to that we could probably tack on another couple of feet on you.
Yes, I stretch their legs.
We stretch the legs a little bit and
shins.
get you going a bit more. But
Carmen, if that doesn't work, you can get one of those seatbelt. What do they call it?
The furry.
Like a
fluffy seat lamb's wool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't cut into your neck.
Yeah. They don't look cool, Carmen. You won't look like you couldn't have that around
that's
Pepper.
not good.
No,
not getting it then.
That's potentially dangerous because if you slam the brakes, so if you crash into someone, that belt's obviously going to,
Carmen
grab you
doesn't
by
have
the neck.
she doesn't have that problem about slamming brakes because she's got a lot of documentation to prove that she doesn't slam the brake, that she actually
very good.
Carmen.
That's it.
So there you go.
Got lots of photos, haven't you, Carmen?
Oh, that doesn't look too bad.
And you've got
Where is that on?
Yeah, look at that. There you go.
This is just Amazon.
Okay.
What I actually did was just Google seatbelt lambs wool cover.
Okay.
And
if you put a couple of eyes on that, Carmen, look like a cat.
And you got a nice stylish pink one or a grey one or a purple one if you've got a blue rinse.
Okay. I'll check it out.
The blue rinse can match the purple one.
Well, that might match.
The purple blue rinse looks good.
Yeah, next time we meet.
Good for Pete once he has a shave. We could put one on Pete just to keep him warmed up still after he's got the shave. Sorry, Carmen.
Yeah, so give it a go, Carmen. It's only so that was only $21. So
yeah.
And look, maybe they've probably got it at super cheap.
There you go.
There you go. There's a seatbelt buddy. So you could just $15.
There you go.
There you go.
I don't know if
I've
that's
got one sitting in the front room that the kids used.
Oh.
It's a set of two. You got a spare. Look, you got two.
Yeah.
$15.
I'll try that. I'll go and check it out. Next time we meet, I'll get someone to check it and make sure that there isn't any other adjustment. But it's not comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But maybe one of these seatbelt things will work.
Yeah, there's the premium seats. Are they Malaga or somewhere there? They make fantastic seat covers, and they'd make them for you while you waited. Only takes them 5 minutes to make.
I would like seat covers.
Well, yeah, they do the seat covers as well, but they use the real sheepskin.
Yes,
fabulous.
I'd like that.
I don't know if I've got their number, but
keeps you cool in summer and warm in winter.
What are they called?
The natural wool or whatever it's called.
Is it premium seats? I just can't remember their name, but they're very good to do with.
And where are
Malaga? Did you say Malaga?
I think it's Malaga, but I can't be sure now.
Oh, okay, I'll check it out.
But they
we had a pass card by them. They were excellent.
Yeah.
Peter Shea did say premium seats in Malaga.
Yeah.
Now on 931.
They're the best crowd around. They're really premium stuff.
Oh, you don't mean Prestige?
Prestige. That's one.
Yeah, they are in Malaga from memory.
There you go.
Oh, good, because I ordered some online and they were awful. They were split into front and back, and I sent
Carmen,
it back.
you know that you've had a lot of issues with the line.
If need be, they'll measure your
That's it.
and
Yeah,
they'll do
Prestige
it.
sheepskin. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
it.
beauty.
Look at
They're
that.
good.
I will
Really good.
follow that up.
Oh, you can get the Tesla logo in the middle.
Zeb
Yep.
from Prestige Sheepskin. We've been doing sheepskin seat covers for 33 years.
Yeah, look at
We've improved it all the way through, so we've got a product that's, we believe, the best in Australia at the
Is this
moment.
in Russia?
People buy a lot of the sheepskin seat covers for a few reasons.
Back in Russia.
Towing a caravan, the adventure four-wheel drive market. They go on long drives. It makes it a lot more comfortable. I mean, we use the same sort of sheepskins. People use it for rugs and they stand on it. All they do is when you get sand or any muck on ears with them.
Awesome. I
Yeah,
like
you
that.
get-
Prestige sheepskins.
Okay, got it.
The guy that runs has got a Lexus and he owns a farm or something. So I think he was ploughing or something. He's lost a leg, but there's two brothers, I think, that run it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, good.
The,
good
the
too.
club members will not be endorsed by corporate sponsorship, but at Prestige Sheepskins, we love Prestige Sheepskins.
I'll check it out for sure.
Thank you, Prestige. I mean, Carmen. Sorry.
You can even get Ugg boots.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's now you're moving to Gosnells, Carmen. You get a little house in Gosnells, you get the Ugg boots, set for life. Then you get the little dice hanging off the mirrors of the fluffy dice. Oh,
Don't
you
get
get a
excited.
duplex. Beautiful.
They've even got rugs, so there you go. Seat covers, Ugg boots, and rugs.
Yeah.
They look
Sounds
good.
great.
Harold,
Hey,
Harold, I have a
Harold,
question, please.
Yes, go Norm.
Sorry, I might just say goodbye before your question. Got to try and get up early tomorrow for the earnings call. Oh, well, so I'll try and get up before the market closes, actually, at before 4 o'clock. So.
Oh wow.
You'll be straight back in bed by 10:30 in the morning, Pete.
Oh, but I've got a massive headache at the moment, so see how I go. But
yeah, I could be uncharitable and say, with a head like yours, it's bound to ache, but that would be rather impersonate of me to say that.
You're not helping, Harold. You're not helping.
You know, to help. Pass me the Panadol. What's
just take a
You
Bex
must
and have a
have
good
been
lie
in
down, Pete.
contact with someone.
You've got 5 hours, so get to it. Have a good night. You can take us out early, and I'll try and play it back later. So what should we all do, Pete?
As always, stay safe, stay sustainable, stay ahead of the curve. And over to you, Harold.
Oh no, I'm not going to say it until later, mate.
Oh, okay.
Good night, Pete.
Good night, Pete.
Enjoy
See
the
you guys.
results. It's going to be very
Night,
interesting.
mate.
So
Night.
have a good one.
Yeah. See you guys.
Thanks, mate.
Night.
Cheers. Yeah, so Prestige Sheepskin, that's a good scoop.
Beautiful.
And maybe for seat covers, I presume Peter shipped that they do Tesla stuff. They'd have templates.
They'll
measure.
even do a special seat. They'll do what you want. But by now they'd have a template, I reckon.
They do everything. I had them in a Pajero way back in the past, and they lasted 8 years. They looked like brand new. They were fantastic.
And if you want some of the side panels, there's sometimes imitation sheepskin. My last set I got made all sheepskin because the imitation stuff is rubbish.
Yes.
Get any surface that's going to wear, get as sheepskin.
Yes.
And they're brilliant.
Okay, Norm.
Yes, so
sorry, go
Harold,
on.
unfortunately, we got knocked by a car at Bunnings. I got the CCTV footage, and we've filed our claim with RAC. So they recommended Bower panel and paint. I was just wondering, is that one that others recommend?
That is a Tesla registered repairer.
Okay.
Personally, my wife has used them for a small home incident, and they've been really good. So we actually did it. We didn't go through insurance because of the excess and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, Bower are definitely a good operator. So if the RAC have recommended them and they're happy with it, you can just go for that. It's perfectly good.
It's a very small bit of damage. It's really only the paint that's chipped. and it's on the bumper bar. So
Yes.
it's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to mention was we had the door closer, the garage door opener closer thing fitted, and it works like a dream.
Oh, you had HomeLink.
HomeLink, yes.
Oh, cool.
And it worked with your garage door.
My existing garage door, yeah.
Which was a Merlin, I think, from memory.
Yes, yes.
Fantastic.
And it turns the microwave on as well. Is that right, Norm?
Yes.
The microwave goes on at the same time.
Yeah. Anything, lights, whatever you want.
Yeah. Put the cup of tea in there, and when you get home, you hear the little ding, and then it's ready. Awesome. It's all really good unless your cat happens to be sleeping in the microwave at the time, and that becomes awkward.
That's too bad.
Back to Prestige sheepskin then with that cat.
Yeah.
You can bring that back alive.
One more thing I wanted to mention. Today when we were driving the car around 4 or 3 or so, my wife looked up and she thought that the roof was shaded, like, as though it's like photochromatic. But is the roof supposed to be like, does it change? I think it was probably just the way the sun was and the angle of view or something.
Is it possible that she had polarized sunglasses on?
No,
I'm not.
no, she doesn't have.
Yeah, cool. Because I'm not sure if the roof is polarized in any. Well, it's probably not. But no. There's no. It doesn't change. The what do you want to call it? The filtering, or it doesn't get darker or lighter or anything.
Yeah.
There's no photochromatic effect at all.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes I must admit, the other day I could have sworn that suddenly the sun changed brightness, and it wasn't because I was in a tunnel or something. It was just But your brain can play funny tricks, or at least your eyes can, or whatever.
Maybe you were having some of Joe's Anzac biscuits. that could have done it. Yeah, that could have been a part of it.
That's definitely possible. Oh, and hello to Peter Harris. I think I just noticed you, and apologies if I didn't do that earlier.
That's right. I've been out on the piss. I just got home.
Right. Well done.
He's ready to go for 20 minutes.
He's currently got a second wind, and he needs to sort of calm down a little bit and relax and chill, so he can just listen to our dulcet tones.
Very true.
He's ready to go. Hey, Pete, how are you?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Harold, I keep asking this question. When's the next piss up?
14th of next month. 14th of next month.
Did
I miss one?
There is, hang on, it's due. It's actually technically due on the 4th of May, which is a Wednesday.
Did I miss out on one somewhere? The last one I went to was Lancelin.
We skipped. Yeah, so in April we did Lancelin in lieu of this we did the Galaxy Drive-In on a Tuesday in lieu of the following Sunday, I think it was.
All right.
And we've got the track day on the 14th of May, which is a Saturday.
Yep.
So we'll also we'll also upgrade that to a casual meetup for people that aren't driving, because that'll be nice. But technically there is a casual meetup due on the Wednesday the 4th of May. Yeah, Wednesday the 4th of May. So it's just a matter of picking a venue for that.
Okay. I thought I might have been disenfranchised or something.
Oh, no. You'll get an email, anything to do with casual meetups. So I'll send out an email to everyone who's
Thank you, sir.
Who's a financial member of Tokwa, because that's how I get emails. And we also usually, I think Rob or someone else will repost that in Facebook as well.
Mm-hmm. Good. You got the dreaded lurgy.
Oh no, I'm all right. I've had a negative rat. It's all good. I just got a runny nose.
I know someone that had they're feeling really crap. and they got a positive rat. Next day they had a PCR, it was negative. A couple of days later, they were still feeling shit, so I had another rat, and that was positive. Had another PCR, and that was negative. So I don't know whether they didn't stick the thing right up their nose far enough, or the rat was sensitive to some other coronavirus, like the flu virus or something.
Yes. Yep. Probably. Yep. That's probably it.
Do you know,
Pete. That's probably dead on.
I reckon that's exactly what happened with Emma the other day, because like we were both feeling crook, and I was positive and she was negative. But I'm like, did you make sure that you actually touched your brain? She's like, no, I did it. I did it before it started hurting.
The rat's always been hit and miss.
Yeah.
It's a, you know, depends on it's like quality is still hit and miss.
Yeah, but if you don't tickle the brain, it doesn't count.
No, exactly.
When so
she had to go really far,
and they shove it up your nose, and you get a blood nose like I did.
Oh man, yeah, I've had a couple of them.
Just one. It was this old nurse. She was about 100. She came in and stuck it. Funny PCR test I had.
Knows how it's done.
So far up her nose, a blood nose.
She does not care anymore.
And well, I was so angry, and I was in a pressure room because I had asthma. I was in a pressure room.
No.
It took her 20 minutes to get out of the gown. And just as she was taking the last piece off, I was going to go, oh, excuse me, got one more question. So she had to re-gown all the way back up, then come back in the room. And I was going to say, oh, it's okay. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it, but I was angry enough to do it. I'll tell you, I've never had any worse test than that, a PCR, because I reckon that's just so bad. They shove it so far up your nose.
Yeah, they do.
And if they like you, they do the nose last. Now, this is the other thing. If they don't like you, they do the nose first, then they do the mouth.
So you're crying while you're coughing.
If they like you, they do the mouth, then they do the nose.
I like it. I like it when you do the drive-throughs and they're like, okay, you can drive now. I'm like, yeah, I can't actually see.
Yeah, the blood's not running.
Yeah.
What was that one on the? It was back in 2020. Oh, was it a guy that does the Daily Show, which is the weekly thing?
Rob Mauer? No.
No. Sorry, on ABC. I forget his name. It's like a weekly comedy show.
Oh, sorry. Not that isn't Tesla. Oh my god.
No. Well, that's right. And he had like one of the what do you call it? Cotton bud stick things. And it's sort of like
Q-tip.
He was at like a border crossing between New South Wales and and Victoria or something, and they had the little stick, and that sort of went up. It sort of started low like this, and then it just went. It's like really, really long.
Oh,
but
such a bad test. That's so horrible.
Best ones made are the best ones are the V-check rats, which is just a saliva test. Super duper quick and simple, easy peasy.
But still hit and miss, Harold. It's like going to the casino and putting your money on black or red. Don't know which one's going to come in. At least with a PCR, you're going to get exact results. But pain and non-sniffing for a while.
That's it. So Pete, we're all good, mate. But yeah, so next one's 4th of May, Wednesday. So I'll get an email out on the Tuesday before. So after the previous Ask Us Anything, I do an email the next day so that it's clear when I say this Wednesday that everyone knows what that means. So you'll get 6 days notice.
Where are you thinking, Harold? Somewhere close, like Mandurah, like last time?
Yeah.
What was that pub we went to just south of Bunbury?
Oh, that was actually a cracker. Joe was there.
Yeah, that was actually a nice pub, I must admit.
That was nice.
I mean, I did feel like I was in a drug farm back of Whoop Whoop run by some bikey outlet. Yeah, but a beautiful venue.
It wasn't quite like Waco. It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't like Waco. It was
King's Road Brewery or whatever.
Yeah,
it's Joe's local.
That's what I just said. King Road Brewery.
King Road Brewery. That's it.
That was is that where we all went that time, like a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I went there for my birthday.
Oh, that was it. Oh yeah, happy birthday.
If you waited any longer, Richard, you could actually wait, a few more months and do it for real.
I'm sure I said it at the time. No, she just had her birthday.
Hey, so where's this driver event, Harold, that you're talking about?
Did you say where or when?
Where?
It's at the driver risk management facility. It's the same place that Carmen went for her Mercedes driver safety training. It's on Grogan Road at the Perth Airport.
Oh, okay. Rightio. Yep.
Carmen, why were you doing that? Just out of curiosity.
Mercedes-Benz
it doesn't get that violent around Peppermint Grove, does it? Claremont, where's car parks, does it?
Mercedes-Benz had a drive day with a whole lot of people. It was good. It was very good.
Okay. And
I learned a few things.
What'd you learn?
How to steer and brake.
Oh, just maneuvering the car.
Okay.
And corners and all that.
Were you on the phone while this was happening?
No. I was paying attention.
Okay. Were you speeding, Carmen?
Well, that's a sore point, yes.
Okay,
It's okay because you can speed on the track. It's a private track, so it's.
I mean, that was a private track, so that was all right. The problem is when you get cameras and $200 tickets.
Yes, I must admit, I got one of those recently, actually, a couple of weeks ago, and it's because another Tesla was in front of me. A Poverty Pearl White was in front of me, and I thought, I've got to put my foot down. I did, and then of course there was a camera, so he took a photo and got me. It was only $200, so.
So that was an evil and a couple of points there.
Yeah, 2 points.
So there's Tesla drivers that sneak up on other Tesla drivers, knowing there's a camera just in front, and go just gun it, and then gotcha.
That was me. I was like, I tried to smoke him and he burnt me. So, but that's okay. It was the first two.
You know that education is never free. When you learn something, it always costs you money. So you learnt that there was a camera just there.
Yeah. Especially on long weekends, I always drive extra careful on long weekends. I never speed. Unless I'm on a bridge or somewhere I know they can't set up a road. Otherwise, generally not. They generally not. Drive safely, always safely. And
Actually, just hang on 2 seconds, Jared.
The following segment is general in nature and shouldn't be taken as personal professional advice. Listeners should seek their own.
Well, they set up, they love Priest's Road, Netherlands.
They what, sorry?
Priest's Road in Netherlands every time. I keep forgetting to avoid that road.
Yeah, I saw that new garbage can one out the other day. The new square box thing. That's quite interesting. It's like a square box, and the wheels wind up into it. They tow it, and the wheels go up internally into the box, and this thing just has like a little head on the top. It looks like a garbage can, but it's big. It's really big.
White ones?
Yes. Green. Yeah. Oh no, green. Yeah, it is right.
Oh, green, right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those.
Yeah, it's on the side. They just drop it on the side of the road, and it looks like a giant big garbage can. And it's
looks like a box on top of a box.
It does. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, it's like
I've seen a couple of grey ones. Just they look like concrete, but it's steel of some sort.
No, this one was green. You're right. Pete, it was definitely.
They got a few of them.
Yeah, they just started using these things. Because I always wave at them, and wave at them and stuff, just to acknowledge that they're doing the safe thing.
Plastic checkbook.
Yeah, but I don't. I make sure I slow it right down before I. And then.
How big are they?
Big, like they tow this thing in like a trailer, and then the wheels go up inside it, so it doesn't. You can't. Then it lowers to the ground. So obviously,
it's probably 6 foot square.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
It's got a big battery in it, so it actually is. They deploy it for several days, I think.
Yeah, they've got cameras.
Standalone for several days. It's got its own power supply or battery supply to run 24/7 for a number of days.
And it's got cameras on the outside, so if anyone touches it, obviously.
But are these the same as the white ones? They've just painted them green now.
No, these are bigger. These things are bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was a version that I think they took the wheels off.
Yeah, this one they go up.
Off. Now this thing lowers, or it's got.
It just
side
looks
covers.
like
You can see
this thing drops down by the looks of it. The wheels are there and they're gone up into it, and the things just drop down, so you can't. It's just a square box, but you know it's been towed. You know, it's really trippy. It's really, really trippy. Yeah.
One needs a drone.
It's big. It's not small.
A drone with a blanket or something, so you can drop the blanket over the window, so it can take as many pictures as it likes with a radar, but there's no optics.
A friend of mine told me about this app called Waze. Waze. Apparently, that's good for safe driving. Driving.
Good.
I'm into very safe driving. As you know, going to to Lancelin. Very safe driver.
What does it do?
About 220k. Oh, sorry. What does the safe driving app? It you can see where there are dangerous zones.
Oh.
It shows you where the dangerous zones are.
Okay, got it.
Be cautious about roadworks and things that are going on.
I'd like to see that integrated to the Tesla nav.
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Can you imagine? And then divert.
Yeah, well, slow down.
Okay.
Send out the parachute. Slow down a bit.
WAZE.
Yes, correct.
So you run that off your phone, or you can actually get it running off the main?
I haven't got it. I just on my phone. Well, I only found out about it properly a couple of weeks ago when he told me that I heard about it, but I don't think it was ready a year or two ago.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I've never.
But now people are starting to use it a lot. Like it's really smartened up because people are telling other people about it, and it's true.
It says My Ways.
That's right, and it shows you. It can save you a lot of points.
Well, I could use this.
That's it.
The question: If you're running that off your phone, what do you guys use to hold your phone in your car in the Tesla?
Well, it just sits in
your hand.
In the charging.
Just in the charging port. You just leave it in there. Yeah,
unless it's next to your ear, then you can't see it properly. So you're better off just in the left hand while you drive it. Oh, when you're driving, no. You put it in the center console.
I guess because it'll now, if you connect it through Bluetooth, it'll announce it through the speakers.
Well, exactly. That's what you put it all through that. But that apparently works really well.
Okay.
It asks you where you're going.
Well, that's only a personal thing. I just said you want to go for a drink or something.
I'll try it out.
You check it out. You tell me, Cohen, you reckon it's any good or not?
That Waze.
Waze, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you used it, Alex?
Sorry?
Have you used it?
Yeah,
Was it a couple of years ago it came out? It wasn't quite ready, was it? Now it's like.
Yeah, I think I installed it a couple of years ago. I deleted it, but I'm going to try again now.
It seems to be everyone's going on it.
What's it called?
Waze. W-A-Y.
No, W-A-Z-E.
Oh, sorry, W-A-Z-E. Yeah.
Oh.
It looks like a blue background with a little, I don't know, it looks like a little round thing with a smiley face.
Triangle.
What do you call it, Carmen?
It's like a little triangle.
No, it's not a triangle. It's round.
Oh, okay. Let me have a look.
It's got a
like
smiley face.
A little balloon.
Yeah, it looks like a little
exclamation balloon on wheels with a smiley face.
Harold's got it. Hang on.
Oh, no. Sorry. Hang on.
Can't see your screen.
Yeah, no.
It's like a little. Like wheels on the side of it, like a little with a smiley face.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Yes.
It's
Pete, that's the one you want. That one there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Pete Ship, that's the one you want. But Harold's showing you.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it already.
That's the one you want.
So I think a couple of years ago it wasn't that great because the usage in Australia was so low that it relies on crowd information, basically.
People putting
I used it in Adelaide last year, or in South Australia last year, because I'd hired a Kona and I wasn't familiar with its speed, like its speedo. Well, not so much the speedo, but whether the speedo was accurate or not. And also, when you're a tourist, you're looking around, and because you didn't have autopilot, you had to pay attention.
And you were going from winery to winery, so you kind of need that little bit of information.
Well, I wasn't really, but I did go to the Barossa Valley, of course. And I did, as per Carmen's recommendation, go to the
Kangaroo Island?
The Cube.
Oh, yes, the Cube. Did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. It had,
I hope you went to the toilets.
Oh yes, another great, great experience.
Me too,
in the
Harold.
toilet.
Me
There-
too.
There was a
Yeah,
holler.
you went to the toilets as
'cause-
well.
Well,
Is there
they've
a
actually
special
got.
toilet that you go to, Carmen, to meet people or something?
It's very different. You do meet people.
You do actually. You actually you get up close and personal with an avatar of someone. I'm actually
Is
going
that one
to.
of those urinals that you?
No,
just
no,
steam?
no. It's you've never seen anything like it.
No.
I don't know. I've travelled a fair bit.
Their cubicles are covered in greenery, and they have funky mirrors at all levels. It's very funny.
Is this a place you pay to go into? Is it like?
Yes,
no?
it's a museum.
It's a museum. Okay.
I'm going
It's
to actually.
Sounds like you're taking a few of Joe's biscuits. How's those Anzac biscuits come along, Joe? Come on, Joe. Know you're there.
They're all done.
Oh, you're going to show us some or what? Let's have a look at some of these biscuits.
Oh no.
Oh, we've been waiting all night to see these Anzac biscuits.
No, because some of them are a bit broken.
Oh, so it wasn't a great.
I don't have an oven. Oh, there we go. We're
There
all
we
blurred.
go. Oh, hang on.
You can have them blurred.
There you go.
That's right. We eat them. We don't look at them.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are your favourite, Jared?
Yes.
Shortbread, Anzacs, Tim Tams.
My favourite biscuit.
Yeah.
Anzacs are pretty high.
Oh, I don't know. I tell you what, I've actually really enjoyed these you know, the little tiny chocolate biscuits. They're called TV snacks. You know, the ones, the little box, they're this big, made by Arnott's or wherever it is. They brought out a range of Krispy Kreme biscuits.
Yeah.
They're really quite nice. They're actually
Not bad,
they're like the little donuts, but instead of the toppings are on a biscuit. I'm like, one of the guys gave me one at work. I was like, oh dang on this thing. It was just pretty cool. I was like, so yeah, I kind of like those ones. They're pretty good. I used to like the just the square biscuit before.
I was talking of homemade ones.
Oh, homemade ones. Oh, definitely the hash. Oh, so the packet, the hash packet. Definitely the packet cookies. They were the normal ones. I had these ones in Amsterdam actually, where you can get good charging for Teslas. Great charging for Teslas in Amsterdam. There was this place that you could get these cookies from. They were homemade, and but you can't drive after you've had them.
Hashtag.
Hashtag
They
no
used to have
cookie
they used to have them at Bar King.
Hashtag no cookie driving, and straight to go and get the chips and mayonnaise from the guy. The big cone of mayonnaise and chips. Oh my god, they were amazing. Absolutely
Get
amazing.
those special biscuits at Bada Bing in Woodlands last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I
think
got
they
it.
were convicted. So speaking of Carmen's reference to the cubicles, this is the blokes.
Is this the police photos, Harold? Are you showing us?
So it's all like this greenery, and the actual door is hidden. I forget where the door is actually. It's somewhere in here. And then you've got, when you look down at the urinal, it's sort of quite weird. Yeah, it was a very interesting. Oh, sorry, I didn't have that on. Sorry.
We're not even seeing any pictures.
When you look down, that's what you see.
Oh, jeez.
Of the
Bloody
urinal. And
that's
this is the door. So this is where you've got.
Yeah, and there's the mirrors on the left.
Yes, you got
that's-
sort of weirdo mirrors, and then that's the urinals.
Jesus,
So, like I said, you got the queen there, and when you look straight down,
amazing.
that's what you see. So the nose is higher than the other thing, but anyway. So that's the cube.
gold.
So yeah, it's actually quite recommended.
What exhibition did they have at the time when you
They had
went?
the Salvador Dali.
Dali still. Well, that's been there for nearly a year.
Yeah, and they had. I took a photo of some of the sculptures, and
Yes.
they were very reasonably priced.
They're great.
I think one was only. Hang on a sec.
Well, they're copies. They're not original. Well, they're there's more than one.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is actually pick that, and then I'm going to share it on the screen.
Mhm.
And it was very reasonably priced, I
Yes.
thought. Once it comes through,
Oh,
I'll put it up.
it was awesome. And did you have a meal at the cafe?
No, we're on a bit of a mission. We had
Mission.
we're on a bit of a driving mission.
Did
So
you
I think
buy some wine?
not
They
there.
actually
No.
have some.
Yes, they do. Yes, being
Salvador.
yes, yeah, and they had a lot of people enjoying themselves
Yeah, yeah.
doing wine tasting.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not really big on wine tasting
Yeah,
because yeah, I don't know a
You've
lot
done
about
it
it, and I
before.
just go and just drink it anyway. But and also, I'm not one of those people that will go to a wine tasting to pretend that you're interested just to get a few bits of, a few
Yeah,
glasses of free
yeah.
wine.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I sort of don't do that.
I went with my sister, and we went to the Cube, and then we went to Serafino's, and we did buy wine, and I had some scent, very nice.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm just trying to get this Salvador Dali sculpture.
Mm.
It's it's very, very reasonably priced.
They had also some of the artworks as well.
Oh
Some
yes,
etchings, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I think they might be doing that for a while. It might, I don't know how it actually works.
Well, when we went, they had they had just launched it, and they had it. The person, a curator from Europe, who went around and spoke to people and presented the artworks. It was very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
We enjoyed it. And did you see the wax dummies of the father and son?
Yes, I got those. Yes. Yeah, that was a little bit creepy.
Very creepy.
But
yeah.
Each to their own.
Yes.
I'm just trying to bring this up if I can.
Well, he's laughing all the way to the bank. It's very successful.
But it's a great architectural thing. It's really
I
does
think
look
was
like
it
a Rubik's
did he
cube.
spend I think he said, was it 3 million to build it?
I think so, yeah.
And then but they rake it in. It books out all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, here we go. Here's the two images. Okay, so the first one is this very fetching, once it loads. Sorry, it's just the interwebs are a little bit slow tonight. It's one of his classic What is Time, where it's got the pocket watch melting.
Yes.
It's a bronze. Here we go. It's the dance.
Yes.
Dance of Time.
Yes.
And what you can't quite see, I'll just
in the background is the building. Yeah.
And that's the building, yes.
And it's all in the winery between the vines.
Yep. And I'll just take that off for a sec and go to the. Here we go. Yeah. So this is the sculpture, and then I took a close-up photo of the nameplate there.
Yep.
And it's called the Dance of Time 2, and it's melted watch, blah de blah. And it's a very reasonable. They haven't got a comma here, but it's only $1,025,000 plus GST and delivery for this rather nice sculpture, I thought.
Harold, I've got a question for you. I've just charged my car and forgot that I had it charged set to 100%, and now it's just charged up to 98%. Do I need to go for a drive and lose 8% somehow?
You can. Is yours the Chinese? Is yours the?
Yeah, Shanghai.
No, yours is performance though, isn't it?
It's a performance.
Yeah, so
but it's made in Shanghai, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
but it's only LFP if it's standard range.
No. It's got the heat pump.
No.
It's got a heat pump, not the.
Oh, that's what you're getting at. Okay.
Because
sorry.
What I was going to say is, if your car was made in Fremont.
Yeah, like
Paul's. And a
Paul's.
Model 3 Performance, all you do is you set the aircon to max, and that'll suck about 9 kilowatts, and you could kill 8% in no time. Well, in half an hour or whatever, not even. But because it's a Shanghai built performance, it'll have the heat pump for your heater.
Awesome.
So your heater is much more efficient. So you could put your aircon on to max, but because it's basically using a reverse cycle aircon, it won't chew a lot of charge in a reasonable time. But you could do that for like an hour. Like just put your
seat heaters on, your aircon on.
Yeah, and in maybe half an hour it'll get down to
or go for a nighttime drive. That'd be awesome.
Or just go for a nighttime drive since you've been on the you've been on the Coke Zeros or whatever. Coke.
Yeah, so it'd be good to go.
So you'd be good.
I'd charge it to 100% and then go for a drive.
Go pick up.
It's at 98%.
Actually, you could go to the Salvador Dali Dance of Time 2 sculpture, and your battery will be well and surely less than 98% by then.
Interestingly, when I picked my car up, because it was from the showroom, I don't know if they knew what they were doing, but I picked it up at 98%. It was a long range, so it's got hasn't got the ion batteries.
Yes, that's interesting. I mean, that was actually a rare bonus that your car was so highly charged.
Yeah, they won't make that mistake again. It's normally 20% they give you.
Yeah.
Somebody's been fired over that, Lance. Someone's got sacked over that one. What the hell? Jesus. Well, that's what we have to do.
I dare say any cars that have been delivered this quarter is going to be very well charged because there's going to be very few of them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But actually, Lance, so how many cars were delivered that day? I mean, if you went to the delivery centre on King Edward Road, that would have been virtually empty.
There were 4 that came in on the shipment. 4. So there was 4 or 500, and there were 4 left over that couldn't make that transfer ship. So that's why I went there and I parked and I looked at all the cars and I went, they're all white, but they've all got license plates that have HJ, and I know that they're up to HS or whatever it was. And then I saw mine sitting there, it was a sold car. And I said, how many? She said 4. So, because when they rang me, they said, oh, look, when do you want to pick it up? I said, I don't know, Tuesday afternoon. He goes, what time? I said, around 3, maybe 3:30, 4. He goes, yeah, anytime around then sounds fine. So they weren't really strict on timing.
Oh.
Wow.
No, and I dare say they gave you a lot of attention because almost emotionally they'd be thinking that we're going to be really quiet for the rest of this quarter, for much of this quarter, if not all of it.
Yeah.
So
when do you reckon they'll be delivering cars again, Harold?
Well, as we saw in the news, Shanghai's got. They will have once they've. I think they're going to take about 3 days to ramp to a full shift for as long as their parts last. And as the report said, they've only got enough parts for between 1 and 2 weeks of one shift of production.
Yeah.
And look, it's plausible that none of those are for Australia because, as Lance, your car was built on the 9th of January?
Yeah, Jan 9th. So all the shipments came across were 8th, 9th, 10th.
So we might not see another shipment this year.
So in other words, they produced all the Australian cars on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of January.
So that's my understanding at the beginning of each quarter. So they've got time to get them across and get them distributed by end of quarter. They're in the books. So I think anywhere from mid to late quarter, that's all going to be local consumption or near China.
Yeah. So that means we're already 10 days behind.
What do they say now, Harold, when you put a car in to buy it?
Oh, it says the same. It says 6 to 9 months. That hasn't changed.
Okay.
That hasn't changed. And I guess in that sense, it doesn't need to change because that far out, you're subject to the normal chip shortages or,
So they might only see another delivery this year.
Well, the thing is, there'll be another delivery, but what we don't know is, we don't know how long Shanghai is going to be under great restrictions. We don't know how many other parts suppliers of Tesla are restricted or not even open. So as Elon Musk says, you know, we're only as good as the unluckiest part supplier, wherever that is. Doesn't matter if it's a nut, a bolt, a washer, a sticker, or whatever. I mean, Tesla had actually delivered some cars minus parts. I forget what it was. They were retrofitting them in the service centres later on. They weren't essential, but they were still missing. I can't remember what it was, but anyway.
Yeah, I remember hearing this. The same thing.
So what we don't know is it's not just the Shanghai factory itself. It's all the other stuff that's leading into it. And like if it's a semiconductor shortage, the shortage is often because you have to slot production into slots. You know, you run like a die of whatever chips and other chips and controllers and stuff. If they're still running and their schedule's the same, it means that Tesla can make 1 million cars or 1.4 million this year. It doesn't really matter to us if they make no cars for a couple of months and then catch up, because if they're part constrained, they're not production line constrained. They can make cars faster than they've got parts to feed into them, so they could catch up really easily. So that's probably why they're not bothering about changing the, you know, if you order a Model 3 now, well, you won't get it until November, December, January, or whatever it is. So, and by that time, Shanghai's finished, because no matter how bad it is, it will burn out in a few months at worst under, you know, CCP control. But we don't know how long it's going to persist, or that, you know, there'll be another province that's got a supplier that is shut down, and they might produce wing nuts or whatever. You know, you just don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm saying good night, guys.
Good night, Carmen.
Thanks
Good night.
for the chat.
Look forward to seeing you next week.
Catch you soon. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Stay safe.
Good night.
Yeah. So Jared, it's just we just don't know. But I would have look. It's completely plausible that Australia gets no deliveries this quarter, because we're already 10 days past our traditional slot. The car carrying ships are super busy. They can't hang around on demurrage or whatever, just sitting at Shanghai Harbour waiting for the cars to come in. They may have been retasked elsewhere to do other stuff.
There's still a lot of ICE cars coming in every day. You look at
but there's also a lack of ICE cars as well, because the ICE cars are in exactly the same situation. There's nothing unique about ICE or EVs as far as
the ICE cars are, the Toyota Land Cruisers are 1.5 years old now.
Well, I mean
18 months for a Toyota Land Cruiser.
Yeah, that's right. So like I said, it's entirely plausible that there may be zero Tesla deliveries into Australia this quarter. That's certainly possible, because you know we are a minor market, so they might not bother to pull their finger out and do right-hand drive cars. They may just do left-hand drives and send them to wherever they can as quickly as they can. But if Shanghai isn't producing many, they might as well just keep them in China, because the logistics is cheaper. I don't know if there's a differential on their selling price, you know, whether the cars sold into China are more profitable or less profitable than the international versions. You know, I don't know.
Hey, Harold, do you want to flick the record switch for a sec?
Yeah, just hang on 2 seconds. And so, apologies for Damon, Ashley, and others that aren't going to hear this juicy bit, but and we're back. And sorry, Jared's just gone a bit comatose. That's okay. He got excited before. It's all
I'm just
good.
looking at my my aircon, and it's done nothing. It hasn't moved. It's still sitting on 98%. See me doing laps around the airport car park at 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to get the power down.
Yeah, unfortunately, the reverse cycle, the heat pump is super efficient. That's the whole point. If it was my car, Jared, I could or Richard Chapman's, we can suck something like 9 kilowatts down to 16 and just keep alternating. And your car will be making noises in the garage.
It is. It is. I can hear it from here.
Yeah.
What about navigating to the supercharger?
Right.
Or precondition the battery, warm it up.
Yeah, that uses about 7 kilowatts. Yeah. Yeah. As Bjorn Nyland would say, it puts on the afterburners, which is where it actually heats. It tells the inverters to put non-motive power into the motors. So it puts current and voltage out of phase, so it doesn't do anything. But the current losses in the stator dissipates heat. So it's deliberately being wasteful. But that way they save having a separate resistive battery heater.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually. Oh, actually, I wonder if the new heat pump cars might actually use the octavalve.
Yeah, they probably would.
And they could possibly use a bit of reverse cycle heat, maybe, if there's spare capacity. But anyway, hey, it's getting a bit late. Oh, it's getting a bit late. I think we've hit our 4-hour mark, which is a pretty good effort. We've already gone beyond Ben-Hur, but we always almost do that. Any last bits of news before we sort of wrap it up? Or
I was looking forward to go to bed, but I'll be driving around the airport for about an hour or two.
I haven't finished these meeting minutes yet. We can carry on another half hour. It's fine.
Oh, you can fuck off.
Yeah, Jared, you could go mobile. Just flick your phone onto the bracket and zoom in on that as you zoom around the airport. You could do that. Look, the good thing is if you can get it to 95%, that'll probably be pretty fine. I think Elon Musk has actually said 95% is no big drama.
Yeah.
Or just take it for a quick fang. It won't take many Ks to burn it off.
No, go to the city and back, burn that off.
Sorry?
Going to the city and back.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on to the city and back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could just do a few like mild launches, and rather than using regen, can you turn regen? Oh no, you can't turn regen off, can you?
No.
You can't do it like mild or medium.
Oh, you can. You can set it to chilled. You can set it to
No, regen, not the acceleration.
Sorry, can't you change it to?
I can change mine.
Yeah, I thought you can.
Yeah, Peter, you've got an older car. So, Lance, do you know? Oh, you might not have seen that. Is there a setting? I thought some of the newer cars didn't have that setting for regen. It was just whatever it was, because some Norwegians were complaining about they wanted like really mild regen for when it's snowy and icy because they don't want their. Oh, and Bjorn Nyland actually said it does do that. It does like snow mode, where if you get a little bit loose in the snow or ice, it'll then back off regen for a few minutes or whatever.
There's a mode to turn that on. So I can't remember what it was called, but it says if for the situation, if you're in snow or slippery conditions, this is what you activate. Otherwise, it's just hold, roll, or whatever the 3 modes are.
Yeah, that's when you're pulling
is
up.
Is that like traction?
Yeah, it's
where
like
it allows slippage.
When you stop.
Yeah, so I think you've got your 3 modes, your standard modes, and then there's a button underneath. I can't remember what it's called, but they say that's for in snowy conditions and the like.
Cool. Yeah, so Jared, just quick fang will do it.
Yeah, definitely.
That'll learn you. So why'd you put it to 100% anywhere?
Because the other day I went for a drive and I put it to 100%, charged it up and drove it, and left it on the phone at 100%. Plugged it in after 9, just thought I'd top it up, and forgot that it's set to 100%. Bang.
Emma's done that before, or I've done it before as well.
I normally blame Renee. Like, I'll go, bloody Renee, she did it. That's what I normally would do. But she's asleep.
I was gonna same. I was gonna say, because Emma sometimes goes to Karrinyup shopping centre, and obviously, the car will get to 90% before they're ready to go. Yeah. So they'll whack it up. So she whack it up to 100%, and then obviously leave it, who knows, 95. but then obviously the slider is then set to 100%. So you get home,
Yeah.
plug it in,
Yeah.
and it doesn't sometimes go back to what it should be. Well, no, it doesn't go back to what it should be.
Well, since there's an infinite number of features, there's an infinite number of software revisions that you could do or requests. Would it be nice, Elon, because you're watching, would be if you put the slide to 100% on a NCA, the non-LFP battery chemistry cars.
That it kicks
What'd
it
be
back.
awesome is you can do it once, and when it charges to that level, it will then automatically reset back to 90%. Like have a button, have a charge options button that says only keep 100% once, and then it reverts back.
When we had the long range Model 3 in the States on our honeymoon, we needed to charge to 100% quite frequently, and it had a hissy fit and set it back to 80, I think, or is it 90?
90.
Might be 90, yeah.
It asks you the question that says, "Do you want to maintain this charge, or do you want to change back to 90 or something?" And
No, do you know what I'm thinking of? Those some superchargers that were high use, it set it to 80, I think. That's what I'm thinking of. But that was a different circumstance.
Yes, that's right.
Cars, they can do anything.
Yeah. So in certain times, in busy times, the supercharger will refuse to accept 100% charge. It'll set your charge thing to 80. I think you might be able to override it if you.
Oh yeah. You just swipe past it.
Yes, yeah, but
We're gonna go,
initially.
Take care. Have a great week. Be safe.
You too. All right, we might wrap it up.
Killed it.
Oh no, go on, Richard. Go.
No. I was going to say Jared killed it.
Oh no, that's it. Once Jared's left the building, that's it. He's gone to wipe off 7% of his charge because it was his fault, and because of that, we got to go early. But it's all good. I would have loved to have had the show go for 4 hours and 20 minutes and 69 seconds, but that would be difficult to do unassisted. But anyway, since Pete Petrosky is not here, but he's so far ahead of the curve that he's actually already dreaming about what Tesla's results will be tomorrow. And unlike most of us, he will be awake to see them. The way he normally rounds out the show is he advises all of us to stay safe, stay sustainable, and stay ahead of the curve. And what I always say is that the best way to do that is buy a Tesla, join Tokwa, and ask us anything about accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. And on that note, I hope you all have a wonderful evening and a safe week, and look forward to seeing you next week on Ask Us Anything. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.
Night, all.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Cheers.
See ya.